And we're back with Unforgettable Conversations, Season 4, Episode 12. We're almost done with the season, guys.
Dang. We're at 12 already?
We're already 12, dude.
How did we get there so fast?
Season
It's been
50, bro.
recorded, dude. A lot of guests. A lot of people want to get on the podcast.
A lot of gas.
A lot of gas. We got Donnie Darko. We got
What up,
Tim
fam?
T back.
Yes,
Finally.
sir. Bro, I've been wanting to do this episode
Sheriff
for a
Woody.
minute, bro.
Back
And
from
we
my
we
cave.
got Tony the Tiger.
Right? Something like that.
How's everybody doing?
Good, bro.
Doing
A
great.
little tired, but it's all good.
You're always tired.
I'm hungry.
I know you're always
You're always
dude.
tired.
Bro, leave me alone. No.
All right, well, today we're going to be talking about our careers. I feel like this
Amen,
is a
amen.
good topic for us because of the fact that we all have very different, distinguishable careers in different areas of
Of life.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a good word. It's a good word.
When
Thanks
did
for
you
the same.
When did you put this wood up? I didn't even see that.
This was put in man, like
19...
1990. No. No, probably like a couple months ago. It probably was like weeks ago.
Yeah, it was...
But it felt like months ago.
Have you talked about like the upgrades in here?
A little bit, but not so much. I know pretty much when we were doing season 2, we were still on the other side of the room.
Right,
Yeah.
we were over there.
And we had that.
All the
so
way over there.
A lot of that stuff stayed the same, and we just kind of started working on this side.
You
And
just
bit by
call
bit.
it like a different facility.
It's
Yeah.
it's our different
We
studio.
were on the western branch
Western
before.
branch, yeah. It's a compound. It's literally just a couple feet.
We're expanding.
Yeah, but no, I think in the span of like a day or two, we got the sofa, the carpet, and like
Comfy
the
sofa.
curtains. Yeah, no, this was
Yeah.
pretty good. We got a good deal on it too.
If I ever get kicked out, I know where I'm coming.
Mhm.
Yeah, right here. I have a special room for you guys. The Harry Potter room.
Oh,
Garage.
Harry Potter. Oh, this is like the Narnia room.
I haven't been in there, so I don't know, bro.
Dude, you know how you've seen Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
You know how like they stick him underneath the stairs.
No.
Oh, yeah. Well,
You
so then
don't?
you haven't. So then
I
you
haven't
haven't seen
seen
it.
You haven't seen it? Oh, so in that movie, there's like a little compartment there. I have the exact same thing in here.
I will take me right now. After.
After. I'll show you after. So, how about we get started with you, Danny? How about you tell us what your
Here we go.
career is,
Here we go.
how you got into it, and how you got into it, and where you're at in that stage.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I'm a milkman. No, I'm just
Professional.
kidding. I'm a professional milkman. No, I'm
you
an
were.
X-ray technician. I work in healthcare.
Explain that.
So do you want to know how X-rays are made?
What's an X-ray technician?
What is it?
An X-ray technician is a person who takes images of really, I don't want to just specify only on bones because we also do other things. We check for any like if you have a cough or something, like say you want to take a chest X-ray, most of the reason we'll take chest X-rays is not to look at your ribs or anything like that. It's to actually look at your lungs. So yeah, I mean we take images of people, depending on what the circumstances.
So like other organs and bones and
I always
pretty much
thought-
a little bit of
yeah.
I
everything.
always thought X-rays were just bones.
Just bones? No. Most of the time they are. Most of the time it's like you're looking for a fracture, but for the most part, like if you're looking for tuberculosis or just any other
I mean tumors too, right? Technically, that would pop up.
I guess. I mean, I think with tumors you're looking more at like maybe MRI.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, X-rays for the most part. I guess it could come up. There are certain things that pop up, like with people when there's times where like people have sinus inversus, where it's like the majority of the organs are flipped on the other side. So instead of having your left side being your heart, it would be on the right side, and in different things like that. But yeah, just knowing the anatomy and everything, like it's key, because otherwise, like you could send in an X-ray image, and the radiologist would be like, wait, why is the left marker over here? And it's like, oh, this person has sinus inversus, like, it is what it
Oh.
is. So I mean, there certain things like that, like it makes sense, like the major arteries and all that stuff, like it takes into account.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. And then how did you even hear about that? Like, how did you even get...
Scripture?
So in the book of Hezekiah, no, I'm just kidding.
You
no,
mean Genesis, bro?
yeah, book of Genesis, chapter, what chapter?
5. No.
Chapter No, I honestly, I don't know. I think I at one point I was working. Where was I working at the time? I was working, I think, at Harbor Freight. Shout out to Harbor Freight. Love you. Great company. by
Not
the way.
sponsored.
Not sponsored. Great company. But if they sponsored us, they'd be an even better company. But yeah, I was working at Harbor Freight. I was working at the corporate office, and
I just want to point out he's pulling up Genesis chapter 5.
what
Yeah.
is it? Go ahead. Go ahead.
line
Read it.
Read it. Read it for us. Read it for us.
It's not even close, bro. No, it says the line of Seth. These are the family records of the descendants of Adam.
Read it.
Oh
Every
no,
single
this
one.
is the trust me, that's the boring chapter. You don't.
Boring chapter.
Yeah, dude, it
There's
just
a boring-
goes through
there's no-
like
there is
20
no
different
boring chapter.
20
You're just
different
like,
generations.
I get it, God. There's a lot of people.
Look, there is no boring chapters in
Amen.
the Bible,
Amen.
except for when they're talking about building
Okay,
the
go ahead.
temple.
Read
So
read it.
yeah.
Read chapter 5. Go ahead.
On the day that God created man, he made him like the likeness of God. He created them male and female. When they were created, he blessed them and called them man. Adam was 130 years old, and he fathered a son. And, dang. Never too late, guys.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
No, this isn't the boring chapter.
And named him
I'm thinking
Seth.
of the
Adam lived 800 years after the birth of,
800
Seth.
years. That's a lot.
and he fathered
You think he had
other
good?
sons and daughters. So
Nine-
Adam's life lasted.
You think he
Dang.
had good X-rays?
930 years.
You think what?
That was
800 years. He had
He has
good
800
bones.
years?
He had some good
Yo.
bones, bro. He had some good bones.
very good
Yeah.
bones. Dude, imagine X-raying his bones.
I honestly, I'd be curious. I wonder how it would look because
They're just made out of steel.
there's certain
Okay, Wolverine.
there's certain like growth plates that you see like over time with like you say like a young person where you wouldn't because like I don't know the exact amount. I actually need to study because my state exam's coming up. But
Interesting.
the what?
You're not studying.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been studying. I just need to
Scripture
study more.
and that
Oh yeah. I got to study the word too.
the word. Both.
But like for example, kids actually have less bones than say adults. Yeah, where you'll have
What do you mean less bone?
Where did the bones come from?
because like the carpals and stuff like they don't grow all of the carpals yet.
Oh,
Until,
okay. I didn't know that.
Carpals and even the tarsals as well. I'm trying to think of
How many bones is there in the body?
208.
What about for a child?
126.
Oh,
100
so
bones.
you did study. Okay,
I'm
so
just throwing numbers out there, guys.
okay. So you got into it because you were doing what exactly?
I was doing drugs at the time. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
You were working for Harbor Freight.
I was working for Harbor Freight, and I just wanted, I was thinking about like maybe, because working for them, like they're very family. Well, they are a family-owned company actually. Like the owners were very close. Like a lot of people that worked there actually knew like some of the owners or like the owners. And so like whenever like I would talk to my coworkers, they'd be like, "Oh, how long have you been here?" "Oh, 18 years." "Oh, 10 years." "Oh, 25 years," or whatever, like 17 years.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, so like people come here and they stay here.
Stay here.
And I was thinking like, okay, I was just trying to envision my life like, okay, if I come here and I stay here, like,
You're the next owner.
am I? No, I mean, I probably wouldn't be the next owner, but I'd be like probably the next manager,
Manager,
whatever. I'd
Regional
keep moving
manager,
up,
something like that.
and it's a comfy spot. It's a comfy spot for sure. But I just didn't see myself growing there, and I didn't see myself like having a passion for there. I just felt like that's a spot to like settle down. No heat check or no shots fired at them, but it just wasn't for me.
So someone at the company told you about X-ray technician?
No. I just kind of started looking up like just other careers at the time, and something that kept popping up was X-ray, and so I was like, I had heard about it before. I'm like, I wonder if it's like as easy as it sounds. Like you're just pushing buttons, right? It's not. It's really not. But eventually, like after like a year, just kind of contemplating, like I reached out to I reached out to a school, and then they ended up reaching out back to me, and they were like, hey, just like, I know you're not like really invested in it, but just like come for a tour. And so I came for a tour. I kind of liked it. I really liked the place. And at that point I was like, all right, you know what? I think I want to actually do something with my life. And like,
Right.
But
and I grew passion for it.
This was in UCLA?
This was actually at Harvard. No, just kidding.
Down the street.
No, Harvard, right off of 6th
Princeton?
Harvard Produce.
Harvard on
Yeah,
Oxnard
it was on
Boulevard.
Hogwarts, actually. So it was at CCI. But I'll leave it there. I don't want to hype up the school either, because
Right.
now that I've been at the school, I don't like it. But that's a different.
Hey,
that's a
but you
different-
finished, no?
But I finished.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
graduated.
That's good.
Mama, I made it. So I graduated. My exam is coming up on the 22nd of April. So pray for me, bro, amigos, that I pass it.
Amen.
Study the book of Genesis, chapter 5.
Crazy,
Yeah.
bro. It's crazy.
So, I know you kind of said like you don't want to talk too much about the school. There's obviously other schools that they could go to.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So-
definitely.
If there was someone that wanted to get into the same career path as you,
I'd recommend them to a different school. Yeah.
to a different school. But like, what would you say to them?
Don't go
as
to
far
that
as-
school.
No, I mean, like, what would you say as far as like, is this something?
Like, is
that
it
you're
worth
gonna-
it?
Yeah, is it worth
Is it worth it?
so far in your
So far, like
career?
I don't know. Like I grew a passion for it, so it was interesting because I've always had the
I feel that, I
healthcare.
feel that.
I've always had healthcare like at the back of my head. Like when I was in high school, like I wanted to be a psychiatrist,
Right.
and then I took my first psychology class in college, and I was like, this ain't for me. So
So you
being,
wanted
like,
to find a way to help someone.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing. I've always loved helping people. Like I've always loved, being a solution to like somebody else's problems.
Right.
And I think
Come on now.
yeah, so go ahead and just lift up your hands right there wherever you're at. Go ahead, Heavenly Father, we come now.
Feel this in the spirit.
So I think that was just kind of my personality, and that was kind of what I was looking for. And
So this kind of went perfectly lined.
it kind of
in
fell
line
into
with you.
place. Yeah, it was like and then when I would go on externship, and so it was just interesting to me, like all the anatomy and stuff, because I was just like, whoa, like there's so much stuff like you have to kind of learn, and so much that goes on with the body, and then just even like just separating the men and the females, like there's different
Come on.
Yes, sir.
pelvises,
Only
there's
two.
different sizes, but
Right.
still
Yes,
God
ma'am.
made them to be here.
He starts preaching.
Somebody help me out right now. No.
I see you right now.
I see you right now. You're
You're laying down. You're watching this at
What?
midnight. Nah.
Why at midnight?
eating chips right off your chest.
Go get an X-ray.
If you need an X-ray, we got a guy
If you're
right.
feeling a little gassy, come to the urgent care. We'll take care of you. Yeah. So I mean, I got invested in it and grew passionate for it, and yeah, I think there's just I kept looking up different like levels of it, because I didn't just want to stop at X-ray.
Right.
I want to keep going. So I looked up, like you can be after an X-ray tech, you can become a radiation technician or a radiation technologist, and then after that you can go into MRI, you can go into CAT scan, you can go into nuclear radiology, which is something I'm actually thinking about.
So there's a ladder.
There's
that you
levels to
climb.
this.
Yeah, there's levels.
There's levels to this, people. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So
as far as like,
Come on.
what could you like tell someone that's coming in that maybe would deter them from wanting to do it? Like, in other words, like let's say dealing with patients. Like, if you aren't a people person,
You need to
don't
be-
go into this line of field.
Yeah,
Like, what would
you-
you say for that X-ray technician?
It depends, because you can also become medical assisting, and medical assisting you do kind of need patients. Well, yeah, it really does depend, but I think for the most part you kind of need to be a patient person. You
Right.
need to be a people person. You don't necessarily deal with them all the time. It depends if you're working at like an imaging center. You're literally just going in there, here, do these positions. I'm gonna just take pictures of you. They're
And you don't
actually
tell them
images.
the results.
No. So we can't tell them like, oh, you have a broken bone, because then we're diagnosing them in a sense.
okay.
So even if something is plain out simple, like, oh yeah, that's broken. Like there's no shot. You have like 4 ulnas, like it's broken in all these parts.
That's down to the doctor or the
It's
physician.
yeah. Even if it's visible to us, even it's the doctor has to diagnose them. So we can't even if we can say it, we can't tell them.
Could you get in trouble for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like fireable?
Because you're
vents?
misdiagnosing people.
Oh,
I mean, if you're wrong in the vent, you're wrong.
Right.
Like say, oh, like yeah, this is broken, and it's like no, like do a comparison, and the other one looks like the exact same way. Because bones look different for everybody.
Maybe
There's
have
a
two broken
general.
legs.
Yeah, like there's different two broken legs. Well, like there's just different. Like that's the thing about anatomy. It's like it's all like there's a template like where it all looks the same, but people's can be very drastically different.
Right.
Like you could see, say if you're looking at the carpal and you're looking at the capitate and you're just seeing like that looks kind of funky, or you're looking at the epiphysis. It's just like you're looking at different things. And you're just like, yeah, sorry. you're looking at different carpals.
You're
or
looking at the
whatever.
We're losing Tony. We're losing Tony.
Yeah. My fault. In other words, anatomy for every person is different. Different ages, different, genders, all that. All 26 genders, it varies,
All right.
I literally just read a verse that says male and female, bro.
He did.
He did.
Praise God. Okay,
Come
my
on,
bad.
bro.
2 genders. My fault. My
So
fault.
Genesis chapter 4.
I guess you could, to finish it off, I have this question. I think I'll ask everybody this question. Do you see your job specifically being possibly replaced by a machine or a computer in the future? Like
Yes.
someone that can just walk into a room and the computer does the x-ray for them or anything like that?
To a certain extent, I think radiology in itself has came a long way. So, like before, it used to be film, and then it got to computed, and then now it's digital. So I've been able to, like, I've been lucky enough to work with both computed and digital. So I can do both. I can do either computer radiology or digital. Digital is way easier. Like you just put your hand on hand on the plate,
Right.
and say after me, I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance.
No, you put your hand on the plate. It takes the image. You take the image. It'll go directly to the computer. As opposed with like computed, it's like, okay, you have to put your hand on the plate, takes the image. Okay, you got to grab that plate and stick it into a reader, and then that reader will take it to the computer.
Okay.
So it's just getting more advanced within the last 10 years.
So do you think
like,
that there's going to be a machine that like automatically someone puts their hand right there, it's going to do everything without having a person behind it?
I think there are still factors because you need there's like height, weight, depending on the anatomy. There's different body habitus as well. You can have a person's thigh, and usually with a thigh you'll do like I may be butchering again. I need a study, but there's like a certain angle that you need to have on the tube.
Lateral.
You'd have to do laterals too, but usually with a long bone, you need to do 2 images. Now the plate itself is usually like 17 by 17, so it doesn't fit the whole thigh. So you need to do like 4 images in reality. 2 images, but 4 different scans or whatever. But some people's got big thighs, some people got small thighs, and then you also you have to use the cathode heel effect, which doesn't make sense to you guys right now, but there's a bunch of different varieties. There's a lot to it. I mean, there's a lot. I probably sound like I'm saying random stuff, but
nerd.
It's there are things that like somebody behind pushing the button isn't just pushing a button.
Yeah, they're taking all these
and you actually have to do
details
kind of math
into consideration, right? Because you don't want to do something that can affect someone that would be different for someone that's body type is like me versus someone that's body type is like Tim.
Yeah,
it's like there's a difference in size there in bones, and I'm assuming since you're using radiation, I don't know if there's a specific amount that would be used for someone that's bigger or smaller.
I mean, yeah. So obviously, of course, if there's someone that's bigger than smaller, say you, for example, and Tim. Okay, so Tim, we'll say we have maybe we're using about 300 mass. So that's milliamperes per second, and then we're probably going 80 kVp. Which again is just sounding crazy to you guys, but as like maybe with you, we'd be actually lowering the kVp so that we can increase the mass to like 400, maybe even 500, depending, specifically. And then
because I'm thicker, huh?
Because you're thicker.
Praise
yeah.
God,
so we actually need.
Did you carry the
more
one?
Well, if we do the
I don't think you carried
inverted
the
formula,
one.
then we don't have to carry the one.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that big, dude.
So size
have to carry the one.
alone, that takes into account
Right.
if we're doing a chest X-ray because
PEMDAS.
the thickness. Sure, PEMDAS.
PEMDAS.
But say they're the same thickness, but it's an older person, like a really old person.
Tony.
Yeah. Tony, who can't.
Tony's younger than
say,
me.
say Tony, who can't. He just can't stand still. I'm like, Tony, stand still. I need to take
That's
this X-ray.
pretty true,
I need you to take
in a
a
way.
deep breath in and take a deep breath out.
Right.
Take a deep breath in and hold it. But if he's over here moving, then guess what I have to do? I have to manipulate the
machine.
technique.
Yeah.
I have to change the seconds because he's moving too fast, so I can't have it too long of a second. I need to have it shorter. I
That
need to
kind of
have it
makes
shorter,
sense in a way.
You know,
That
so it's like
kinda
I
makes
need
sense.
the image to be quick.
I should have been an
Each,
X-ray
and then
technician.
each time you're hitting them with radiation,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that stays with you, right?
So yeah, the main thing, one of the big things is ALARA, the ALARA principle, which is as low as reasonably achievable. So we want patient dose to be the least as possible. So that's why we'll try to have the KVP, pretty low, and then the higher mass. Like the mass is like okay, but you want to keep the penetration to the least.
Have you ever seen those videos of like infants and toddlers getting X-rayed?
No, I've never.
I've
heard
actually
that.
I've done
It's
infants
the
before.
it's the best thing you'll
I've
ever
actually-
see in your life. So
Infants before.
you and everybody on that phone that's recording, look up like babies getting
Yeah,
X-rayed.
cameraman, look that up.
They're
I
just-
actually
look it up.
just think of
when
like
was it?
just think of like a jar of peanut butter.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what you have.
As a baby.
Yeah. It's like a tube. It's just like a tube, and the
Uh-huh.
baby is in it, and his arms are like stuck
Oh,
up.
it's called
Oh.
it's called the pigostat.
Oh,
So that's one form of avoiding, because like you got to keep babies still, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So one form of
just
avoiding
hold them by
that
the hands?
it's a tool that X-ray technicians use. It's pretty much it's literally a tube
Uh huh.
that's radiolucent, so that means X-rays can go through it,
through
and
it.
it's not gonna affect any of the results.
Right.
And so
wow.
it literally the baby's just stuck in it. Just think of a slide, right? Or like a straw. The baby's stuck in the straw.
Uh huh.
And so he's just there. He's just there standing. He's gonna pull up an image right now. You're gonna laugh because it's just the baby looks
So it's
stuck
kinda like
and
a little
and
can.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
So it's like a little.
There's a famous picture. If you look up Pigostat, PIG, yeah, that's the famous picture right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
see through.
Yeah, it's see through. It's radiolucent. So
kid.
Looks like a jar of
He-
peanut butter.
He
But
looks
yeah.
like he's on a roller coaster, but without the
Yeah.
roller coaster.
Have you seen Willy Wonka? The fat kid that
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
Oh, okay,
Type
okay,
in
so yeah.
Pigostat. You'll
yeah,
see.
look up Pigostat and you'll see exactly
Click
what
images, and
what
it's the first thing.
pediatrics. If they have that tool. If not, then usually the mom or the dad will
Would just
wear
hold it.
they'll wear a shield. They'll make sure they're fully shielded, and then they'll hold the baby.
Hold the baby.
Usually that's kind of the safer way, just because. I had a X-ray. When was it? Either 2 weeks ago or maybe up to a month ago. I had an X-ray a pediatric baby.
Baby.
Yeah,
And you guys use that machine?
and
or
he
is
was a
it-
good kid. He was a good. I mean, he was like maybe a year old, maybe less. So he was an infant.
Why do you say was?
Because he
he's
was
older now.
no.
I thought it meant like he
Like
passed
he
away or
wasn't.
something.
He,
I was about to start crying.
no. I mean, like he wasn't being crazy and like he wasn't crying and all that stuff.
So
'Cause
he is a good kid.
he's a good. Who knows? He might have become a rebel.
he changed his life.
Who
He went-
knows?
He went the bad
Who knows? Yeah,
route.
maybe he backslid. I don't know. I can't. All we can do is pray.
Alrighty, well, that's good that you were able to give that advice.
Yeah.
And would you recommend it as a career path?
Yeah, I would. But you really have to have a passion. I think for any career, you have to have a passion for
Passion
it.
for it.
And one thing I've always said is like, if you find a career or you find a job or whatever that you don't really feel like you're working because you enjoy it so much,
Right.
then that's what you want. You don't want to find a
Damn.
job. You
Nah.
want to find like you really want a purpose. Like
Right,
at
yeah.
the end of the day,
I'm just kidding.
Apparently, this
Like-
guy didn't get one.
yeah. Like
Nah, I'm just kidding. I'll get my turn, bro. I'll
go
get my
ahead.
turn,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. That's all I gotta say. Like look for a job, look for a career where it doesn't feel like a job, where it feels like you're not counting the time. You're like, oh, I'm almost out of here. I'm almost
Yeah.
out.
You're not
look-
waiting for that clock out.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You're not waiting for the paycheck. No, like you actually feel fulfilled in that area, and you're actually feeling like there's a purpose behind what you're doing.
Gotcha.
So
Come on, church.
yeah.
All right. Let's go with which one of you guys wants to go first?
I'll go.
You go. Okay, Tim. Let us know what you're doing.
All right, this is gonna be an hour long, guys. Just so you guys know.
I am a recruit.
He's a new sheriff in town. That's all, guys.
No. I'm as of right now, as of 324. I am
325.
the date. Oh, 325.
Yeah.
I am a recruit, and then on
Number 1 in Ventura
Third.
County.
Thursday I'll be getting sworn in as a peace officer,
You're not wrong.
specifically a deputy sheriff with the Ventura County Sheriff's Office.
And Tim, we know you're a humble guy, but what is your rank in the academy?
I'm a recruit.
What is your rank in the recruit?
No, I'm a recruit.
What is your
He's
rank?
not number
That
1, bro.
sounds right.
It's not.
Recruit,
It's
right?
not. It's not an extra like role or anything like that. It's just
That's true.
Were you or were you not sergeant?
I was a class sergeant, but
There we go.
that was besides the
Okay.
point.
There's only
I'm
one
a
class
recruit.
sergeant per class.
I'm a recruit.
Oh.
Okay.
What is a class sergeant though? Like why do they give them that title instead of
So
everybody else?
in the academy, at least in our academy, not every academy does this. Our academy has what's called a class corporalship, and then what that class corporalship represents is everybody gets an opportunity throughout the academy to showcase their like leadership skills.
Okay.
So there's the class corporal, and then there's our TAC officers, or what most people know them as drill instructors, people that wear the flat hats.
Right.
The class corporal is like the middleman. So he's like relaying information. So he goes in there like every hour, gets information from the staff, our TAC officers, and then he relays it to the class. And if he does a good job, obviously you have to pass your class corporalship.
Right.
Typically it'll last like 2, at most 3, maybe 4 days. But yeah, and you're obviously graded, you're evaluated on how you're doing as a class corporal. Some do good, some don't do so good.
So does each individual take turns?
Yeah. So the very first time we started the academy, and they do it randomly. They pick randomly. There's no like, oh, we want this person. Like
Right.
it's just random. They picked the first guy, and then I was the second guy that they picked. So week 1, day 3, it was Wednesday and Thursday, I believe. I was class corporal, so that was my chance to like showcase, and everybody has to do it. So there's still one person that hasn't been class corporal yet, and I think he's the very last one. I think they switched on Friday evening. I don't know. I haven't looked at my group chat yet, but yeah. So everybody does the class corporalship, and then so everybody at one point or another is a class corporal, and then around week 6, 7, or 8, they pick what's called a class sergeant, and then that class sergeant just gets. There's only one class sergeant for that entire class,
Right.
and he's not like the authority or anything like that, but he's just the one that gets different types of information from staff. So,
Okay.
for example, we have graduation coming up, and I'm getting all of that information rather than the class corporal, because not that it's more important, but it kind of is a little bit more important.
So pretty much they relay information to you, and your job duty as that is to
Class
relay
sergeant.
Relay it to the class.
to the rest
Yeah.
of the okay.
So it's kind of like you have, so a class corporal will just do the day-to-day like operations, as opposed to like the class sergeant will do,
Like bigger events.
hey,
stuff like
next
that,
week
yeah.
we're going to be getting pepper sprayed. So make sure everybody brings 2 pairs of like clothes that they don't mind getting
Underwear.
pepper spray on.
Where
Two
you-
pairs of underwear.
Yeah,
'cause you
pretty
never
much.
know.
So that it'll be like, hey, you know,
Sick, bro.
2 weeks we have graduation. I need a list of names and family members that'll be coming. Okay, I'll take care of that.
Gotcha.
So the class corporal does day-to-day stuff like, hey, all right, break has been granted, or yeah, the class can go on code 7, or blah 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 blah.
Gotcha.
But I have kind of other things that I need to
more
worry
the
about.
bigger information, the more important information
Yeah.
as far as what you guys are going to be doing. Well, let's get into it. How was it getting
they-
pepper sprayed?
Yeah.
The pepper spray was, honestly, there's a lot of people like it does suck. It's not something that I enjoy.
Everyone has to do it.
Everyone has to do it, yeah. And yeah, they pretty much just spray you across the face, and then we had to do like an obstacle course. So we had an airsoft
okay.
gun. Obviously, we wouldn't fire live rounds, but we had an
Right.
airsoft gun, and we fired it at a paper target. And the whole point is like you have to like peel your eyes open, because you can't shoot with your eyes closed.
Right.
Obviously, you need to know what you're shooting at.
But
So you gotta, what we called like is a, hold my mic, Tony. We do like it's called a meat hook.
Uh-huh.
So obviously you get pepper sprayed and there's like little explosions happening in your eyes,
Right.
and you want to like it's automatic. Like you can't like open your eyes. Like you have to literally peel with your with your hand, and then you're doing this, and then you're firing your rounds and whatever.
You
So-
firing it like that?
Okay.
No, you're firing it normal.
Like
So
down,
then
gangsta.
it's called a meat hook. And so you just
So
have
you're
to do
just
that.
literally holding your eyes open.
Yeah.
and
You
it's
do that to
burning-
yourself?
It's
and
burning.
it's burning.
Or
yeah.
somebody
burning
does
more.
it to you.
Yeah.
So then you go. No, you do it to yourself. So then you go, and then they say, "All right, you're good." You have to give like your command, or you have to give your dispatch, your radio.
Mhm.
Tell them everything. Like, don't freak out. Like, get what you need to say out because in real life you might have pepper spray on you. You never know.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to communicate with dispatch.
Right.
So then you're done with that station, and then you have to run across. And then there's a baton somewhere on the ground, and you got to find it.
Oh,
your eyes are
wow.
like, your
It's like
eyes are
blind chicken.
Yeah, so
I
then
mean-
you find the baton, and then you have to like strike the bag that they're carrying,
okay.
and then you do
What do you
that
What do
for-
you say while you're striking it?
You're giving commands like get
In
on
the
the
name
ground,
of-
get on the ground. And then yeah, so then
I'm
you're
pretty
done.
sure it's like get down. Or
Yeah, it's just
stop
commands.
resisting
No
or
weapon
something like
formed
that.
against Exactly.
Yeah.
So then you're done with that station, and then you have to like climb through a window,
Right.
and then you know obviously safety because nobody wants to break their head open.
Yeah.
You
They
get
have like
down,
pads or something like that.
and then there was like an actor who was like pacing back and forth, and he had a knife, and then you have to give commands to tell him to drop the knife.
Knife. Okay.
Then get him on the floor, and then you have to go up to him and prone handcuff him and everything like that. So all your fine motor skills, they pretty much go out the window when you're stressed and you're freaking out.
Right. Right.
So all of these like
that
little
fight
like,
or flight.
yeah, all the fine motor skills. So this is just to show you can still do your fine motor skills. You just have to focus.
Every time you say motor, he gets excited.
fine
His face is
motor
just like
skills.
his face is like
do you guys know what fine motor skills
Chevy.
are? Fine motor skills and then gross motor skills. Fine motor skills is
Is that
like
your hands?
is like operating your phone, like using your phone, like small.
Something
Okay, so
intricate.
like okay, very
and then
fine.
gross motor skills would be like opening a door. It's
That's
just
disgusting.
pushing the door.
Like,
open.
Right.
That makes sense.
So we had to do that whole obstacle course, and then we could detox or a decon, which was pretty much just get rid of all the pepper spray that was on her face. And
And you can't really use it's not like regular water that you're throwing on there, right?
no,
Like, you
so
have to-
water reactivates it pretty much.
Oh,
is what they told
really?
us. So you can go, like they allowed us to go to the hose and like wash it off of our face,
right.
but in that moment, it's actually it's gonna feel good with the water running on your face.
But then once you stop, it's
Once
gonna
you
start.
stop, it's gonna actually last even longer. So you're prolonging the effects.
Right.
As opposed to what I just did was just let it dry, like all the pepper spray dry off,
And they peel it off or something or what?
and then you would just dab it off. Don't wipe it off because that'll also reactivate it.
What about
'Cause it's
milk?
gonna go into your pores.
Milk
and
won't help.
whatnot, huh?
Yeah, so it dries into your pores.
Oh man.
So, just you're worried more about your eyes, and that's what I was worried about. So I'm just standing there in the breeze with like meat hooking my eyes,
Right.
Mm.
forcing them open, and just like blinking fast, so like all the tears like push everything out.
Uh huh.
And then I was doing that for like an hour and 15 minutes, and my eyes were still like bleeding.
Now my question is, since they had you do commands, I'm assuming that those commands were kind of hard to even say because you're also breathing in.
No, it's like a force of habit now. Like the commands are nothing. It's just like get back, get on the
But
ground.
were you able to like
stop
say them?
fighting? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not like that stuff gets in your mouth or anything like that.
No, if it gets in your mouth, that's even worse because now it's getting into your lungs, and
Oh.
if it gets into your lungs, so pepper spray is pepper. So I don't know if you know what the Schofield have. Have you seen Hot Ones?
Yeah. We've already
So-
messed with a couple.
Yeah, I don't want to do
You
that
guys are
again.
crazy,
Do
bro.
you know?
I'm doing that
Do you
again.
know what the Schofield level is? Was like the
For pepper spray?
no for the like.
Didn't we
did
hit
you guys
like
eat, gummy
10,000 or
bears?
something like that?
We did 10,000. No,
No, 20,000.
we did way higher.
Gosh.
It was something. It's
It was high up.
That's
the gummy bear was the
The
one
gummy
that
bear was
20,000?
high, dude.
Look it
The
up,
gummy,
Benny.
no,
the
the
gummy
gummy
bear.
bear was like 21,000 or something like that.
Because
Okay.
we did.
I kid you not.
I still have the sauce, the bomb, and that's I think 9,000.
Get an
Oh, you
exact
got the
number.
sauce.
Yeah, get the exact
Because
number.
if it's 20,000, that's child's play to what pepper spray is. And I'll tell you once you find that number.
Find out because that's the worst one. We did a couple different ones.
So
But the
habanero-
gummy bear was the worst one.
Habanero is like 300,000 or something like that. Schofield.
Oh, okay.
So the gummy bear was like 400,000.
Just find it. No, find it.
Gummy bear. What's it called? Gummy
Just
bear.
type in world's
hot.
hottest gummy bear. It'll pop up.
Schofield levels. Put that at the end.
Was it Lil Nitro?
Yes, little
All right,
nitro.
Lil
And
Nitro.
little nitro.
Lil
That's the
Nitro.
brand. That's the-
Little nitro gummy bear.
Type in Schofield
find this.
at the end of whatever it is.
It's available on Amazon.
Yeah, that's where I bought it from.
Okay.
Oh, we looking for the
What's the Schofield?
I'm clicking. I'm click. Oh, what do you want to put?
Just type in Schofield after that. SCOFELD.
I think my phone's about to die.
Mine too. Mine's at 1%.
Hold on.
But yeah,
It's kind of
so
slow. Just keep talking.
once you find that number, I'll tell the pepper spray number.
Let me
So,
look
like,
it up.
It just put it in my cart.
I must.
So yeah, so then that my eyes were pretty
You're
much
buying, like,
bleeding for like an hour.
Right.
I
and
bought
20
like 3
minutes.
packs, dude.
And then after your eyes start to feel better, you just feel your face, and it just feels like a really, really, really bad sunburn.
Oh.
So
okay.
like to the touch and everything like that.
the
It's
next
just-
day too, or is it just?
yeah. So that was I felt the effects and everything like that. For the sunburn effects was till we got home. So we got home.
It's at 9 million.
Around-
9 million Scoville.
9 million Scoville
Scoville.
chili extract, making it 900 times hotter than a jalapeno pepper.
Did you find it?
Yeah, it's the same
So
one.
9 million.
9 million.
Dude, that one sucked.
Yeah.
That
Wait,
one hurt me, dude.
I know this
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
context. Did it hurt when you went to the bathroom?
No,
Okay, that's
I don't know about you guys though. We had we
it
actually
hurt my
did-
stomach,
It hurt my
dude.
stomach too. I
Like,
felt like
it-
someone punched me.
Yeah.
So what it was is we did a challenge, and what we did was like Russian roulette, where we got red gummy bears that were regular and the little nitros, and we ended up kind of like
mixed them.
We mixed them.
You mixed
but
them together.
in the process of mixing them, we got some of the powder on the other gummy
On the
bears.
other
So
one.
some
but
people
even still, so I was one of those that got some of the other power on the other ones.
It
Or
still
so-
hit,
It
but
still
not-
hit,
not
but
that bad.
not nowhere as near as bad.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, this is spicy, but it's it's doable. It's
and then
doable.
you went in for another
and then I was
one.
like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna do the hot one. Like,
Yeah.
it can't be that bad. Oh my goodness.
So if
That's the
that
worst.
gummy bear was 9 million,
yeah.
yeah, I would never eat that gummy bear in my life.
Why? What's the pepper spray?
Pepper spray is 5.3 million.
So we
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you guys!
what the heck?
But
I feel even more.
but you also have to imagine the pepper sprays in your eyes.
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Dude, if we would have gone nine, dude,
No,
it
yeah.
it got on. Jake ate one of them. I ate one of them. Danny ate one of them, and there was one more, right?
Jamie ate like half.
Oh, Jamie ate half of it, and she started crying.
She started crying.
She
She started
spit it out.
coughing. Like she was
Coughing,
spitting
yeah.
out.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, we have it on video and everything. It's
Yeah.
on the YouTube channel.
If you look
man,
at
it
dude, if you
sucked.
look at me, I am dead serious the whole time.
He turned pale, dude.
Oh, dude, there's people
His
that
hands turned pale,
with the pepper
my
spray,
hands were shaking,
and he
dude.
was shaking, and he was like,
with the pepper spray, people were freaking out. Like, obviously, we try to help each other, like decontaminate and everything
Right.
like that. So we have like a little area. Some people choose like in the moment. The instructors were like, it's a complete mindset thing. If you just like, some people like to sit in their corner without any help and just sit down and then just like think like, okay, I'm all right, I'm breathing, I'm fine.
right.
Earlier that day, we got CS gas too, so we got tear gassed in a gas
Oh,
chamber.
was that worse, or
you got gassed.
That was
was pepper spray worse?
so the pepper spray lasted like 30 hours, and then the gas chamber lasted. The CS gas lasted 5 minutes,
Oh, okay. So it's not.
but the
as-
gas chamber. So we got gassed.
You
We had
wearing
our gas mask and
mask?
everything,
I was
and the
about to
whole
ask.
point was to like show, hey, your gas mask works.
Right.
Like, don't be afraid. And then we go to the like the door of the gas chamber,
Question.
take our mask off, and then we have to say our last name and then the class motto. So some people, I took a deep breath inside the mask
Right.
and then said blah 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 blah. blah.
They were smart about it versus
While
people.
other people were like, take the mask off, and then they
In the
start
name
like,
of Jesus.
so they start freaking out.
That's
And
my
it was-
motto.
Yeah, yeah.
They would say that, and if you feel it in your eyes, and it attaches to anything that has moisture. So like your armpits are burning.
Wow.
Anywhere you're sweating, you're burning. So like some people's necks would
Anywhere
start to
there's
burn.
water.
Anywhere there's water, and then obviously
the
it goes
back of
into
your
your
knees.
goes into your lungs. Yeah.
The back of your knees.
So the CS
Yeah.
gas
Friend
was
of mine.
the CS gas was shorter,
Right.
but that was pretty bad because like you can't breathe, and that'll freak people out.
So
if
you're
they
just
can't
like
breathe.
suffocating in a sense.
Yeah,
Dang.
because you
And
want to
this
breathe.
This is
but you're
inside
coughing.
a like confined space.
Yeah, it's a gas chamber. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
Now, has anybody
It's a
passed
silver.
out so far?
no,
Did
no one
anybody
passed out.
pass out?
There was one guy that passed out. Yeah, but that wasn't in
For
our
that
class.
one or for the pepper spray?
In the gas chamber. So the pepper
okay.
spray, you can still breathe, which is why it doesn't like freak people out. Which is
Oh,
why it's
okay.
completely a mindset thing.
Right.
I mean, it sucks.
It's like it
Doesn't feel
burns,
good.
It sucks, but you're not. It's not like the.
You make
the-
you make it what it is. So
Yeah.
like you're gonna
Gas
be. So
chamber.
my thing was like, I'm gonna be in pain. I already know it. but don't freak out and make it
God.
worse.
So you kind of
Other
like
people-
went through it like pretty smoothly because you accepted like, okay, it's gonna suck, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna get through this. We're gonna be done with
Yeah.
it. And then
Other people were like, "Oh my gosh!" They're freaking out, running around, like sticking. So they had fans for us, but like I said, the fans are kind of like the water. Like, yeah, in the moment it feels good in front of a fan,
right,
but as soon as you leave, which at some point we had to leave,
it starts burning.
it starts burning and it reactivates. So you go home, you shower just like your neck and up,
Mm-hmm.
like you lean it forward in a tub, and you get it all off of your like your hair. I had it in my nose because that's how he just sprayed it. It's all in your pores, so you have to scrub it off, and you're using
Exfoliating or what?
baby shampoo,
Baby powder.
so you can
Oh.
like literally open your eyes and scrub inside your eyes. Under your eyelids, you're flipping your eyelids and scrubbing. So yeah, it's pretty
Gosh,
crazy.
dang.
Shout out Johnson & Johnson.
So
man.
Dang.
you're doing all that and then you literally leave the shower. The moment you let the water stop touching your face,
Right.
it reactivates, and everything's burning again. Your eyes.
So it's like you almost want to just stay in the shower for like a couple hours.
You have to. Yeah, you have to do it because you have to do it. You have to get it out of your pores. So then I went back outside where it was nice. It was like 45 degrees, so it felt good.
Man.
And my face is burning. I'm pacing back and forth, but it only lasted for like maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
After those 10 minutes, then it was just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
And then,
like the sunburn.
yeah, then it's
feeling.
not as bad and I'm okay. I just feel like the sunburn, my eyes feel like watery a little bit.
Were you having trouble sleeping?
No,
Yeah,
I
how was
slept
that?
I slept like a baby because
Really?
yeah, I went to bed like at 7 that day cuz I was so
You're like, I'd rather be
exhausted.
knocked out and
Yeah.
go through it than
Yeah,
and
but
have
then
to.
then actually that night like 1 a.m, my right eye reactivated again.
Oh,
Just for some weird reason, like that's just what decided to happen.
You probably started crying in your dreams.
Yeah,
and, you
from
know.
one
Well,
eye.
No, like my right eye
Yeah.
reactivated, so I went back inside, got more baby shampoo, and started scrubbing it. And then in the morning, I showered, and it like slightly reactivated. It wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
But then the next day we were doing what's called scenarios, which I already explained to you what they are.
Yes, so don't
And the
ask.
room was humid, and it was just like kind of reactivating. My eyes, everyone's
Oh,
eyes were all
okay.
puffy, and some people were crying, tearing up.
They were high.
So
Yeah.
it was it lasted for 24, 30 hours. So
Dang, that's got to be intense. But I mean, the reason that they do it is because you're going to be using this type of
yeah, you gotta know how it feels.
yeah
Accidents happen.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
just
so there-
accidents. You're using it as a protective measure.
It's also to
Yeah.
show you it's similar to the gas mask. You have to know that you can still get through it.
Right.
So
Because God got through it.
we've been pepper sprayed. We know what it feels like. We know that we can give commands. We know we can still use our baton.
Right.
Yeah, it sucks. It's not ideal, but you know you can still do it,
Right.
which is the whole point.
Praise God.
Awesome. Okay, so if someone wanted to get into the sheriff's department and go through the same thing that you went through, what advice could you give them as far as like what to expect and what they probably need to accept as far as like what you're going to be dealing with? And if you can't deal with this, then don't even look into something as far as
I think what he's trying to
yeah.
ask is what kind of personality you need to have, right?
You just got to know that it's gonna suck. I mean, we don't work 5 to 8 hours, or sorry, we don't work 5 days, 8-hour shifts. We work 12-hour shifts.
What are you trying to say, bro?
What's up?
12-hour shifts. We
I
work.
mean, if you don't like overtime, then don't do it. Don't
Yeah.
go, don't go into
They don't
that
give
type
me
of work.
overtime, fool.
So, and we're mandated every pay period, which is 2 weeks. We're mandated 24 hours of overtime. So
Oh,
you
okay.
have to do 24 hours of overtime, I think, and then
Do you
24 or 20, something
do you
like that.
choose those, or it's like assigned to you?
No, it's part of your schedule.
Oh,
So in a 40-hour work week, we would do 52
Okay.
hours. So
as far as advice going into
the academy,
academy?
the academy is gonna suck. The academy is gonna like no social life. I mean, I'm sure you guys know, no social life. Hey, we're gonna go out to eat. Nope, can't. I literally
we
can't.
lost Tim for like
Yeah.
a solid
4 or 5 months.
2
4 or
years.
5 months.
The academy's 6 months long, but
6
the
months
last
long? Yeah.
last month and a half is bearable.
Kinda
I lost him like 3 years ago, man.
He wasn't even in there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So no social life. This
No.
isn't like the military. It's you're driving every single day. Like it's
Spiritual life.
There are live-in academies,
right.
Better
but
preach,
this
brother.
this one's not a live-in academy. you commute.
You commute. every
So
single
we
day.
actually have someone that lives in Santa Barbara, and he drives 50
wow.
minutes, and we meet up at. So the academy starts at 0800, which is 8 o'clock.
Right.
But we meet up as a class. We meet up across the street at Home Depot in the morning at like 0600, so like 6
Okay.
o'clock. So I wake up like at 5.
I wake up at
And then you get-
0500.
Yeah, and then we
Me
get
too.
there. We get
And-
there at 6, and then we have to like organize all of our paperwork. Just get ready to class. Make sure we have all of our gear, because if you forget your gear, it's gonna be the worst day of your life.
Right.
And then make sure everybody's awake and there. And then we leave Home Depot in, because I mean, there's 50 recruits. Well, there were 50
Right.
recruits. We condensed down to like 12 cars, so that
Okay,
there's
okay.
parking at the academy.
Right.
Could Tony do it?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know. You're not gonna sleep. Like the first 4 months, you sleep on average maybe like 4 hours.
But can he
do it?
do it? Can Tony do it?
The sleep is the worst.
Be
part.
honest.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna cry.
I think you can,
Let's go.
but you have to be okay with like your life actually miserable.
All right,
For both of
farewell.
us.
Farewell.
Can
farewell.
Danny
Alright,
do it?
could I do it?
Farewell.
I don't know.
Uh,
The sleep, he sleeps a lot.
I've actually been a lot better, surprisingly.
I'm all looking at you like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I was pretty like my
Okay,
sleep.
well,
my
I
sleep
mean,
was
so-
probably similar to
Yeah.
his.
Oh, because
Well,
of school.
it's because the thing.
So
with-
you're pretty
because
much
the thing
you're
with
pretty much
me-
waking up at like 5 in the morning. You said right, and then going
Yeah.
to sleep at what time? Because
5 in the morning?
That's
No.
gonna be
Like past midnight.
past midnight. Because you're also doing like
So
they
we have
pretty much
what's-
assign you. I guess you could say
I
homework.
already
We
did.
have what's called memorandums, and those are what consume your time
Right.
because you have to type them out and then write them. If you literally any mistake, if your E doesn't look like an E and it looks more like an F or something, or it looks like an R, you have to redo it. Because if not,
That's where I would fail.
when you turn it in, it'll get kicked back to you, and you have to redo the whole thing and the fresh memo that they assigned that day.
Oh, so there's more than one every single day.
Every day there's a one assigned, a
Okay.
memo, and then if the one before the day before gets kicked back, you have to redo that one the day before, and you have a fresh one. And let's say they don't like, you send back in your redo, and they don't like that one. Now you have to redo it again, and you have that redo, the redo from the day before, and the fresh memo. So you have 3 to turn in, and that you're not sleeping that night
Yeah.
at that point.
But what time do you actually leave? Like when you're done for the day, and then you're gonna go home.
It depends. Sometimes we would leave like the schedule says we leave at 5, but we never left at 5 for like the first 2 months. We'd probably leave like at 6 or 6:30.
So 5.
But
to
then we go back
6:30.
we go back to Home Depot as a class
Right.
to get to our cars and everything.
Shout out Home Depot.
But we debrief, talk about the day, talk about what the next day's gonna be
Right.
like,
Feeling.
and then the class corporal would talk for like a couple minutes, and then we're probably the latest we ever left the parking ride was 7 o'clock. Then you get home.
Do you guys ever go inside Home Depot?
No, there's no reason.
As far as like physically,
Physically,
how do you
sucks.
feel like you can't really just one
No.
day go? And how did you prepare?
No, you have to prepare because the biggest thing, like
We went to the gym.
it's a lot of running.
Uh-huh.
It's not really like lifting weights or being strong. It's more
Endurance.
cardio and
Cardio.
endurance and everything like that. And then you destroy your bodies. So like we'll do a workout one day, and then we take a day off, workout, day off. So we
The
would
workout is like runs.
not just runs. There would be like push-ups,
Obstacles. Obstacle course.
No, not obstacle course. It would be like push-ups, sit-ups, planks, hip bridge. I mean, a bunch of like calisthenic stuff.
Right.
And then every other time we would do sprints, and then we would do long runs. And those long runs are like half a mile, and then we'd come back and then do more push-ups and stuff like that.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So
And then
And that was like the whole day sometimes.
no, that would be like the last 4 hours of the day.
so then physically, Danny could probably do it. I mean, as
You would
far
have,
as,
yeah,
like-
yeah, but you have to train up to it. Otherwise, it sucks.
Right.
Like even for me, like it sucked. I hated. I love running, and I could do it. I could run for however
Right.
long, but it's just like every day you're doing it, you're destroying your body. They give you no time to recover,
Right.
and that's on
Mhm.
purpose. Like that has a purpose. Not
So
being
you're
able
going
to
in
recover.
like sore.
You're
in other
going
words.
in sore. You're going in with like shin splints. People develop shin splints, and they still run.
blisters.
Blisters on their
Oof.
feet, everything like that. Their knees weak, arms are heavy.
Come on, bro.
They probably just ate mom's spaghetti. No, I'm just kidding.
Now we're all getting ready.
Yeah, so the whole point is like You're
Freddie.
gonna destroy your body,
Right.
and in this career, you're probably
I destroyed my body.
you will rarely ever your body will rarely ever be 100% on a shift. And
Let
that's
me-
the whole point.
Let me
That's the
ask.
whole point, to get you prepared for, look,
Like, your
tomorrow you might be running. The next day you might be doing paperwork, but the following day you might be running again,
Yeah.
chasing someone or whatever else.
Yeah, your body's gonna be hurting, but that doesn't mean you can't keep going.
Let me ask you this:
Part of
did you notice, or do you think there was a change in your mindset? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. Like more of like the discipline, because like there's a whole bunch of things that they look at. So we have post job dimensions. And they're like things that they look at. So obviously they'll look at your command presence, which is like how loud can you get and how convincing can you sound when you're loud and you're yelling.
Do you feel like you can be
But
that?
that was I had no problem like
Put the money in the bag.
I had no problem like yelling or showing command presence while other people were like,
In the name of
"Hey,
Jesus.
put the gun down," you know.
Put the gun down.
And you
Freaking
can
where
tell.
are the other drugs going?
Put the gun
But
down.
it's not just command presence. There's also like physical ability. You need to obviously be able to like keep up.
Right. Was there any people throughout the academy that you could tell like they're struggling versus
Oh yeah.
people that came in somewhat prepared?
Oh, so we started with 50. We're gonna graduate with 38. 2 got fired. 3 quit, and 7 left for medical reasons. So
Wow.
the majority of the time is gonna be medical, like why someone leaves.
Right.
That
was the shin splints that you were referring
No,
to?
it
or
wouldn't be
like,
shin splints.
broke
So
something?
if I remember correctly, it was like
They had to
3
visit Danny.
3 of the females had left medically for their hips. Like their hips were just like not able, like they had hip fractures in their hips.
Hips don't lie.
And then of the guys,
because of the running, a lot of it, huh?
yeah, of the guys, it was like, I think one of them blew out a knee, or I forgot. It was like knee problems and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because you're doing a lot of running and it's like on asphalt
Yeah.
and gravel and everything like that.
Detached patella.
Different types of elevation.
Right.
So, but like, here's the thing. I kind of see myself as fairly physically fit,
Right.
and
yeah.
it still sucked for me. So the people that weren't physically fit,
Hell,
the fact that they got through it, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Because
So
for,
they pushed through it.
yeah, for me, it was the recovery. I mean, getting ready for Lifetime Fitness, well, is what we would call it, Lifetime Fitness.
Praise.
People are putting on Tiger Balm, which is like icy hot.
Right.
Oh yeah, that feels
Um,
bomb, dude.
But it's like stronger,
You-
way
you
stronger.
put that
It's
on?
like it's way stronger,
I
and
used it
people
for a little bit.
people are preparing in the locker room for like literally hell. Like
Yeah.
it
It's
like
sucks for
game
them.
7.
And then you see Tim in the corner in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, people have,
Taking
you
a
have
cold
like,
shower. Everybody else is like icing themselves. He's got the word in
Tim's
his
leaning
hand.
down in the corner. Just,
He's just crying. He's like,
I'm gonna go for a run after this.
yeah, no,
Oh, man.
the Lifetime Fitness sucks. Then other post job dimensions would be like, obviously there's integrity in this job. You cannot lie. You have
Right.
to be completely honest 100% of the time.
And they catch you on that stuff, huh?
Yeah, that's why 2 people got
Yeah.
fired.
Yeah.
Really, the
Oh,
only
wow.
reason you'll get fired is for integrity.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
yeah, so they got caught. They got caught slipping
yeah,
in a lie.
slipping.
And yeah, if I had my manual, I would be able to show you all the recruit job dimensions.
Right. As far as like how I mentioned earlier, if someone wanted to get into that line of work that you're doing, what are the requirements for them to even be able to get into the academy?
Like the actual like job application
Like job
process.
application process. Like,
So
what
you-
was it for your? I know that you obviously have like a bachelor's degree, right?
Yeah, that's not
But,
necessary. So the
like-
very first thing you do is it's called a written exam, which is the Pellet B, which honestly isn't too hard. It's pretty much just common sense questions. The second thing you
Like,
would
it's all
do,
written.
you could do it on a computer. I did mine on a computer.
Oh.
And then second thing, I think I started my interviews, my first interview, and then I did my second interview, and then I did my physical test, which consists of 4 things. One is like a 160-pound dummy, and you just have to drag them in a certain amount of time.
Oh, okay.
And then
What was his name?
dummy.
Danny.
dummy.
And then you have to scale a 6-foot wall, and then like do a little quick sprint. That wasn't too hard.
Okay.
Then there's like an agility course, which again isn't too hard. It's just like kind of like football drills. You just have to
okay,
like
okay.
do quick cuts, and then you have to jump over like a steeple horse or steeple, and then do a sprint. And then the fourth thing is a mile. I think it's a mile run in under 10 minutes, which is
Oh, that's not
Fairly
yeah.
easy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly easy. So that's the physical test. After that,
10 minutes, really?
yeah,
Yeah, that's actually pretty slow.
That's slow.
in a mile. Yeah, no, that's what I said. It's fairly easy. So then you would do.
I can be a sheriff. Oh,
Then you would
I think the
do.
Navy is like 7 minutes, no? Or the
The
I
what?
don't know. Are you looking into it?
He's falling asleep.
no,
That's
no,
what he's
no,
doing.
no.
He's praying.
Dude, just meditate. Just meditate. You're good.
So then after the fitness test, you would do another interview, your third interview, and
Navy
then,
SEALs. There you go.
then you would do a lie detector test.
Uh-huh.
And then after the lie detector test,
He lied, by the way.
you do.
We got
you do-
away.
I wouldn't be here.
No.
Then you do lie detector test, and then you do the psychology exam.
Oh, okay. And
And
then
then-
that after that, you pretty much
After
get
that,
approved.
you pretty much get your conditional job offer, which means like, okay, if everything else matches it, like throughout this entire thing, they're doing a background check.
Right.
So they go to your neighbors and everything like that. I'm pretty sure. I think all of you guys
Yeah, I
were
think
on the background check.
the whole sending in the
Yeah, I
letter
had to
and
fill
then
out
all the
something.
paperwork.
I had to lie so much
It's
on
just,
that.
it's just a bunch of stuff, like a couple questions.
I
that
made
they
you
ask
look good on that, Tim.
Dude.
And then they go to talk to your neighbors,
Right.
and then that's pretty much it. Then they say like, all right, you're good. This is when the academy starts, and October 3rd was when.
They call you or what?
No, yeah, I think they called me.
For school requirements, I know like we said that
High
you had
school.
a high school,
High school,
Okay,
you
high
got to be
school.
21 years old.
21 years old, high school. There you go.
Yeah.
You can't do it, dude. I'm sorry.
With the second
Gosh, nah, bro.
You
You
need
might
to-
be 22.
You're making me
but-
look bad, bro.
I'm just kidding. I'm joking, dude. I'm joking.
But yeah.
We're not
So-
though.
And then
the whole application is not too crazy, but
Right.
the academy is,
it's the tough part.
yeah. Obviously, not everybody gets to even go to the academy.
Right.
So they
The
were telling us a
academy-
number of like every 100 people that apply to get to go to the academy. So,
Really?
Yeah, you know what? Actually,
or I think one goes,
I think
one or
it's-
two goes to the academy.
I heard one because, like I mentioned to you a while back, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get into the sheriff's department a long time ago, and I remembered that's one of the things that they always said. Like 1 out of the 100 people actually go to the academy, and then even there, you're kind of weeded out.
Yeah.
And then
There's-
like you
there's-
said, you guys started with 50, ended up with 38
Mhm.
or something like that.
So even some of my buddies that like they didn't get in the first time they applied. So they applied, and then also when you apply, you're applying to like you kind of like schools, like you have your number one choice,
right.
which
Also, there's
I-
more than one academy.
no, like department.
Oh,
So
okay,
in our
okay.
academy, I think I told you there's 8 different agencies
Right.
that are represented. So I could have applied to VCSO, VPD, OPD, Simi Valley PD, Santa Barbara Sheriff's. I could apply to all of those.
Oh, okay.
And-
okay.
you said OPD. Hmm.
Oxnard Police Department, yeah. So I could have applied to all of those. And let's say like I get into all of them. Okay, well my number one choice is VCSO.
Right.
So
But if you were like, let's say you didn't get into the sheriff's, you could stay, and then you actually got approved for like OPD or something
Yeah,
like that.
I
you
could go with
technically
OPD.
still go through.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
so
Because it's all the same academy.
and
There's
then
just different people.
but yeah, like what I was saying earlier, some of my buddies did that where they didn't get into VCSO, so they ended up going with OPD
Right.
or vice versa. And some people only applied with VCSO. They didn't get in last year, so then they reapplied and then they got in the second time.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh, if you don't get in the first application, like you can still reapply.
So technically, I mean, if someone was smart about it and they just wanted to become a peace officer, they could apply to sheriff's,
All of them?
They can apply
pretty
to all
much
of them.
everyone,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then it'll probably, I guess, give them better odds to actually get in.
Yeah, 100%.
In a way. I didn't know that.
But yeah, you need to be disciplined through the academy. And then, I mean, the academy's like a baby step compared to a 30-year career.
Right.
So in that career, you're like I said, you're going to be working 12-hour shifts. And then at times, like 30 minutes before your shift, you might get handed a pink slip, which means you're working another 6.
Ooh.
So, which is normal. And like I said, 24 hours mandated overtime. If you want more overtime after that, you have what's called collaterals, which are kind of like hobbies. Or not hobbies, side jobs. So you'll have your main assignment, which is maybe patrolling Camarillo, but then you'll have a collateral, which is SWAT or
Right, right.
K9 or well, K9's actually a full-time gig.
It's type.
Or maybe you're a range master at the range, something like
Right.
that, and you just do quals all day. So there's collaterals. It's a busy job, and then the other thing, the number one thing, I was talking to somebody who actually went through the academy a year ago, and he said, in this job, like it sounds bad, but you have to be willing to do this.
Right.
At some point in your career, you might have to shoot a kid. You might have to kill a kid.
Yeah.
Like
And you said okay.
kill a kid.
You said okay.
Like you have
I
to.
mean, you kinda
Everybody
have
in
to
this job
be
has to be able to do that.
Okay, with having to draw your weapon and actually use it.
Because like
I
let's
have
say
to
there's
shoot kids too.
like let's say there's
With
a
extras.
kid with a gun.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an airsoft gun or whatever,
Right.
and he's
But you
pointing
don't-
it at
you don't
people.
know that.
I don't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Could
at
be a
some
real
point-
gun and he's
Scary.
pointing at some other kid.
You have to like make that decision. So if someone that's wanting to do that, you need to understand that at some point in your career, God forbid it ever happens,
Right, yeah.
and very unlikely that it ever happens.
Right.
But
But
there is that
If it does, you can't shy away from it.
Yeah.
And then another thing they always like tell us at the academy is like call for service. Like we don't get the opportunity to like pick what calls we go to.
Right.
So if
yeah.
there's a 4-5 not like a burglary, I can't be like I don't want to do a burglary. I'm gonna go over here. Like no, you have to go to the burglary
Right.
or you 211 a robbery. You have to go to the 211. So
That's tight.
you don't get to pick and choose which one you're gonna go to, and you never know
What the next call
what
was.
can
it's
go
gonna
down?
be.
Yeah.
The other thing too is
That's
like
what's-
you wear different hats.
That
So-
trips me out.
In one call, you might be getting to a use of force where you're having to draw your gun on someone because it's a robbery in progress. And you show up, you're having to draw your gun, give commands. Let's say you hook and book them, right? You take them to jail, whatever. The very next call,
It's an eviction.
it's got to be.
Or
It
something
could
like
be an
that.
eviction, or it could be a 5150, which is like someone that's suicidal, and you need to be empathetic.
Yeah.
What are you going to
That's
draw your?
tough.
To be honest, like, quite frank, killing yourself is not a crime. So
Taking someone else with you.
if they're like threatening
That's a
to,
crime.
if they're threatening to kill themselves, it's not like you can just like shoot their leg and like, oh, I put the knife down, like I saved your life. No, you have to be able to talk to them.
Right.
So one call, you might have to like beat someone up for use of force, or you might have to use force, or for a robbery or burglary or whatever.
Mm.
Right.
And on the very next call, you have
You're
to
a-
be empathetic
You're
to
a
someone
therapist.
that's you're a
So-
therapist.
Yeah.
So you're having to literally do that in the flip of a switch, and that's what they always tell us, because you don't get to pick which calls you get to go to. You don't know, like let's say someone calls in, hey, like there's a person with a gun, but in reality there's not a person with a gun. Or hey, I think someone's breaking into their house, but in reality you pull up to the scene and the owner doesn't have his key, so he's going through the back window.
Right.
Mm.
Like, or are you gonna draw your gun on the owner? Like no. So
Yeah.
you have to. Calls aren't always what they seem.
Yeah.
And for the sheriff's department, we start in the jail.
Right.
So after the academy, when I graduate on Friday, the very next week, we do what's called CIT training, and then we do JTO, which is jail training. And then they pretty much just get us ready to start doing jail stuff, custody stuff, watching the inmates,
Beyond scared straight.
beyond scared straight, yeah.
So last two questions would be where do you see yourself going in this career? And then the last one would be kind of like how I asked Danny, like, do you, which I feel like everyone kind of knows the answer. Do you think your job later on in the future would be replaced by either like a computer or something like that?
iRobot.
Robot.
Well, yeah, that last question,
RoboCop.
yeah, I don't think so, because
Yeah.
it's too, like, you have to be
Too-
too
yeah.
human. It's
Too hands-on, too human,
Two
too
people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You're working with people the whole
It's
time.
not like putting together cars,
Right.
you know. It's you have to be there.
yeah.
Yeah,
a
it's not like
human
you're
has to
laying
show up.
concrete or anything.
Well, you know what?
yeah,
what
that's
you know,
true.
okay. That's messed up. You know what? I was thinking. I don't know why, but I feel like, you know, the same way that they have like cameras at like stoplights.
Mhm.
What if they put them on the freeway
For what?
for like speeding or something like that? So like,
Yeah,
you'll
they are.
just,
Oh,
you'll
there's
just get like a,
There
a
are.
ticket. In
There
the,
are.
They are,
Like the tolls and stuff?
or
tolls?
like
They have speedometers.
or like a little drone that they could just stop you.
Well, that
they
drone
do-
is controlled from someone.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do you like imagine that?
But like
going
down
towards that direction.
down Malibu, they actually do have like where it's enforced, right? There's like a drone or something that like or something like it marks your speed and then it sees by the time you get to the other side, and then that's how it knows if you're speeding or not.
And then they'll just mail you a ticket.
I don't know.
So
I've never.
the other thing too is that we have what's called letter of the law and then spirit of the law. Letter of the law is, okay,
Praise God.
the speed limit is 45 miles per hour.
Right.
If you go 46 miles per hour, you are breaking the law, and I can give you a ticket.
So like versus the flow of traffic, right?
Versus that's the letter of the law. That's what the letter says.
Right.
Speed limit is 45 miles per hour, as opposed to spirit of the law.
Hmm.
Spirit of the law means I have what's the word they use? I have discretion. So if you go 46 miles per hour, no cop in the world is going to give you a ticket.
Bet.
If you go 50 miles per hour, no cop in the world is going to give you a ticket. Now, if you're going 55, it depends on the circumstances too.
Right.
Maybe it's
True.
raining. Maybe the flow of traffic is at 40 miles per hour for some weird reason.
Right.
And you're going 55, zooming in and out of lanes. All right, yeah, I'm going to give you a ticket.
And you're in a school zone.
Yeah, so yeah.
School zone's like 25.
Yeah. So-
You're going 45.
So that's the spirit of the
Spirit of the
law.
law.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Let's say
So
a
it does-
parking ticket's the same thing. Like, okay, you parked here. All right, you were only here for literally 45 seconds. Okay, you're fine.
So that kind of goes back
Get
to
out
like
of here.
you can't really be replaced with a robot because there is discretion in each individual peace officer.
Every call, there's discretion.
Yeah.
So,
Your
and then what was
discretion
the
is
other?
advised.
What was the first question?
Where do you see yourself going as
Oh,
far
right.
as this career? Like,
There's
where's your, I guess you could say, angle or your goal?
There's a ton of things. So that's the biggest difference between the Ventura County Sheriffs and then police departments. So So for those that don't know, Ventura County Sheriffs has their jurisdiction is the entire county,
Right.
except for the cities that have police departments. Right. So like Ventura Police Department,
Right.
and there's Oxnard Police Department, there's Simi Valley Police Department, and all of those police departments, they watch over their own cities.
Right.
Now we can still go in there and make arrests,
Right.
but that's a waste of resources. We have Camarillo to work. We have literally everywhere else in the county to worry
Right,
about, all the mountain ranges and everything. So we would patrol everywhere else and just make sure everything's operating there. We also are in charge of the jail, the county jail, and the courts. And then police departments are a smaller department, so it's more like family in a way. So we have 850 sworn, more or less, as opposed to like VPD or OPD, which would have more or less around 200, maybe
Right.
180 or something like that.
So it's like almost twice the size, or
Four times the size.
times the size, depending
Yeah.
on the.
And
department.
that's with considering every police department in the entire nation is understaffed.
Right.
So it's police departments are nicer if you want that more like personal approach. You want like everybody to know who you are, and maybe you want to
Stick to a specific area.
yeah,
like
maybe
the
you
city.
want to rank up faster, or maybe you have dreams of being a chief of police or something like that for a city. It's a smaller agency, so everybody's more family, as opposed to like Ventura County. I'd probably go in my career not knowing
everyone. Yeah.
3/4 of the deputies that I'd be working with.
Right.
I mean, I could, but like it's very unlikely. So it's a bigger agency, which means there's more money and there's more opportunities. So like on Thursday, we went up in the units, the
The helicopter.
helicopters.
Right.
We have I think they said there's about like 8 different copters, and like the most expensive
didn't
one
know that.
costs like $15 million used, and they got it used.
Right.
And then that's still like they still have to do their paint job on it, their decals,
right.
all of their upgrades with their cameras and their FLIR cameras and whatever. So it gets expensive.
I was actually working at FLIR today.
Yeah.
What?
I was working at FLIR today.
A
In
VP.
And carp?
What's
no,
FLIR?
It's a company.
It's a camera.
Yeah, it's a company
Yeah,
that makes
like
cameras
thermal-
and different
thermal
like
imaging.
thermal imaging and
Oh.
yeah.
So like a police department would never get $15 million for an air unit
right. Yeah.
unless it's like LAPD.
Yeah. We're big.
As opposed to
Police department.
Ventura County Sheriff's Office, we have like 8 of those.
Right.
They're not all $14 million,
Right.
but
Right.
like
But
we
still.
have the resources, the manpower to put them up in the air and everything like that. Get them up in the air in less than 5 minutes.
Right.
So,
As far
That's-
as your goal towards what
that's-
specific like role.
yeah, so that's why I chose Ventura County Sheriff's Office, because there's so much you can do.
So the options
What I
are
would
open to you.
what I would want to do, obviously, so we have to work in the jail for more or less 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole thing. You're working in custody, but like I said earlier, you can still have collaterals. So some of the jobs I want to get into would be like classification, EMU, which is like electronic monitoring unit, which is like the house arrest stuff.
Okay.
That would be cool. And then after custody, you would do patrol. I'd love to be in SWAT, but SWAT is obviously competitive. K9 is also competitive. There's only like 6 or 7, 8, 9 K9s in the entire VCSO. So I'd want to do SWAT. I think I'd want to do motors because I was starting to get into it. Like which motors is like the motorcycles,
Right.
and you're really focused on
Hot pursuits.
no, not hot pursuits, like traffic tickets and
Traffic
traffic
tickets,
enforcement.
yeah.
There you go, traffic enforcement. But you're still a normal patrol officer.
Right.
Is it like
I'd want to get into motors.
Is that what it is?
No, CHP just
CHP just
California.
stays on the
That's different. Okay.
I'd want to get into motors. SWAT would be cool. I'm drawing blanks right now, but yeah, like all of these little collaterals, I think would be sick.
Baking.
I'd love I think one of the best jobs is to develop the next people that are coming up. So like the recruits.
Like recruits.
Mhm.
So like
training them.
our TAC officers, there's only 5 of them, and only 3 of them are VCSO. One of them is VPD, and one of them is Santa Barbara PD.
Oh, okay.
There's only 5 of them for a class, and like to be honest, they represent like the best of the best.
Mhm.
Like they are as professional, as disciplined. They've had some of the best careers up like so far in their careers, and so they get to train the next set of recruits that come through.
Right.
And I think that's probably like the most impact you can have as somebody that's being like a police officer. So I'd love to be an RTO, attack officer.
Right.
But obviously that's a hard job to get into because obviously there has to be an opening of one of the 5 has to be, leaving, and you have to qualify and they have to want you and everything like that.
Right.
And it's just a hard job. So I'd love to be that. I'd love to be, I said SWAT already. There's another, special enforcement unit, which is gangs.
Okay.
Some people are also into narcotics. I wouldn't really care to be like narcs or anything like that. I'd love to be a detective. Like detective is a sick job. Obviously, not having to show up in a uniform every day.
Uniform every
Wear,
day. Yeah.
suits
Suit
or
and tie
whatever.
or something like that.
Sneakers.
So there's a bunch to do, and that's just like those are the main jobs. Each,
Yeah.
like for example, a detective. There's different types of detective. There's major crime unit. There's
Right.
homicide.
and whatnot.
There's the sex crimes units, which handles all of the crazy stuff that that the public never even gets to see
Right.
or has to see.
That's crazy.
All the detectives would handle that, and
Yeah.
property crimes, all of that crazy stuff.
So yeah, just a lot of different options for you to possibly move into, and
yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, that's awesome though. And then you said right now that they're understaffed, right?
Oh yeah.
I know. I always see the sign
On my
right off
way.
the freeway that the apply at the sheriff's department.
They have
It's actually pretty cool.
Oh, that big sign.
Yeah, the big sign. So
Yeah.
they're actually pretty much every agency now is giving a signing bonus. So we're actually the first class that's getting a signing bonus.
oh nice.
So when we applied, we signed a piece of paper and it said we get half of our signing bonus once we graduate the academy, and then the other half after like so many shifts.
Oh, so you're gonna get
okay.
paid pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean,
Did they tell you how much it is?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
10K. So like we get
That's pretty
5K
good.
after we graduate, and then the other 5K after so many hours.
Nice.
Not bad. So if anybody wants to apply at the Ventura County Sheriff's Department, go.
Link is in the
apply.
description.
I don't know about the
www.
link.
We'll
drop it
I
right
could- I
here.
can actually put it in there.
You make
Yeah.
a lot of money, especially with that overtime.
Yeah,
I'll
a
say
lot of
that.
money.
But it's not a job for everybody.
Bonus.
Not
or
for-
signing
it's
signing
not for-
bonus.
Sign on bonus.
But definitely
Yeah.
do your research and know what you're getting into. And thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey man.
We
All right,
were
let's get to Tony. I feel like this guy's just been like
falling asleep.
Falling asleep. Boring.
No,
He napped.
all right,
The whole
Tony.
time.
Tony.
I'm just
Tony.
kidding. I
Sorry.
respect that. I respect your guys' careers.
Yeah.
All right. I'll,
Talk to me, Tony.
all right.
What's going
I
on?
mean, you already know. No, I'm kidding.
I don't.
I'm about
Tell
to
me. The
snooze
bro
right
Migos don't know.
All right. Well, real quick. I mean,
tell us what you do.
Give us a word first.
all right.
Tell us what you do, and then jump into how you got what made you want to do that.
All right, so I'm actually a union carpenter from the 805. Let's go, baby. So that's what I do. I've been doing this I was telling Danny the other day, I was like, dude, I've been doing this for 6 years. Going in May of this year, I'm going to go for 6 years. So that's been quite a long time. I was 19 when I started doing it. Well, I got into it because my dad, it's a trade that he's been doing it's a trade that he's been doing for a while.
He's in the union too.
No, he's not in the union. He was in the union back in like 2008, 2007.
Oh, you can get.
So
you can leave the union.
well, remember there was like a recession at that time and it got slow. So I don't know.
Yeah,
You
the
guys-
market crash. and all
08.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So point
Good
is,
old
is
days.
like it got really slow.
Yeah.
So he like had to leave the union. But my dad was in the union, so he knows what it's like. I mean, at that time he was getting paid pretty well. But anyway, yeah, my dad has been doing this trade for a while, and to be honest, so I went to college for a year to Ventura College, and you remember
The worst year ever, dude.
Did you study
My
for that, or were you
goodness.
studying something different?
No, it's because look, I'll be honest. Like, I went into like my senior year, towards the end of senior year, like really like not with the plan, like not knowing what I wanted to do. You know, I had an idea of
It
what
was
I wanted
reckless.
to do. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, I want to do music, right? So, and then I went into school, into my college, and I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And I was taking all these courses, right?
History of
And we-
jazz.
and we
General
took-
ed.
History
yeah,
of
pretty much
jazz.
general ed.
Okay.
And then we took a class together. I remember
My
that
goodness.
with John too.
Yeah.
John Fiscal.
Shout out, John.
Shout out to John, bro. I'll send you the link later. Anyway, point is that throughout that first year of college, I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I actually remember I was looking into MI. I don't know if you know MI, Musicians Institute.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You remember that? So I remember Tim and I actually went to a open house because they have this program. It's called the Guitar Craft Academy. So I wanted to like build guitars and basses. Like I want to learn how to make them.
Oh, okay.
So that was like one of my plans. I was like, oh, I'll do that. But then the school was like $15K or I don't know how much. But I was like, dang. And it was in LA, and I was like, I don't know, like, whatever. So I was like unsure.
Moving and maybe even having to move down there or something like that.
Something like that. So I was like unsure, and then it was like they were like, oh yeah, we don't guarantee a job, and I was like, I'm just gonna waste time or money
Yeah.
here.
Right.
Or both.
So yeah, so I was like whatever, like, so that was that, and I was like, well, I could be a music teacher, but I was like, dang, dude, like, you have to learn how to read music, and I'm like,
Yeah.
can't even read
Theory
music
and
the
all that.
greatest, and the church musicians really don't.
Oh, yeah.
You really don't read music.
You don't.
You go off feel and just notes and numbers.
Well, the number system is
Yeah.
like the biggest thing.
But
yeah.
anyway, that's that. And then I was like, oh, what if I start a business? Like, I was like, oh, I can help my dad, because I know my dad was like, he has always wanted to start a business for like a long time. And I was like, oh, maybe I can like run the business side of it, So I remember my second semester taking a class in that. So I was kind of like,
Like a business class.
yeah.
Okay.
So
You
I
were
was kinda-
dipping your feet into every.
I was kind of like
every-
experimenting and like, in a way, like trying to find out, okay, what I wanted to do. So
Which is good. Honestly, that's good.
That's good, yeah,
Yeah, that's a
absolutely.
good option.
So my second semester, I remember taking a business class, and then I took a construction technology class, which is all the building codes and all that. You know what
yeah.
that is. I mean, basically, but what building codes is like, there's buildings have to meet certain regulations
Right.
and stuff like that.
right.
Anyway, so I took that, and then what else did I take? I think I took like just math and whatever. So I took those two courses. Like, I was like, all right, well, I want to see what the business is about, and then the construction technology, what that's about. So then, I didn't like the business class. I was like, bro, I don't know what the heck they're talking about. I was like, all these terms, all
Yeah.
these whatever. I don't even remember them.
economy.
Bro, whatever it was, I don't know, bro. There were just so many words. There were
Okay,
so many
yeah.
words, and I was just like, all right, bro. Like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, this isn't.
That's definitely not for you.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't for me. And then the construction technology course was tight because I mean they were talking about building codes and buildings and different types of buildings and all that, and the different types of regulations that they have to take place, and
Right.
hazards, and because obviously different buildings are used for different things, commercial buildings, homes, a bunch of stuff, right?
Earthquake stuff and stuff.
Yeah,
like
a bunch
that.
of all that,
Yeah.
seismic, which is earthquakes, and
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't know all this went into a building, right, at that time.
Right.
This was 2017. So that happened. So I did my first year, but at that time I didn't have a vehicle, and at that time I lived deep in Oxnard. I'm pretty sure you guys remember. Like, I lived like my mom lived like close to Port Hueneme. Point is,
You dropped him off. Oh no, you didn't drop him off.
No, what's that?
Quick story.
Yeah, quick little.
Quick little
Time
side
out.
road. So Downey's mom used to live on Oxnard Boulevard, but like
no, Saviors
Oh, like
and
Woolley,
Bard,
no?
bro. That's
Yeah,
like
but,
deep in
it was
Oxnard.
So
Oxnard
practically
Boulevard.
close to the beach.
Okay,
That's
just
the deep end of
Far.
Oxnard.
Like Hueneme,
and
practically.
I was driving him.
Anacapa Islands.
I was driving him, and at this time, we were in my
Yeah,
Jeep,
it was
which
like
had no
9.
doors and no top.
Bro, this guy.
It was
Which
like
was fun.
9:30.
It was like 9:30, and I was. How old were we? Maybe like
we were like
in high
We're 12 years
16,
old.
17.
yeah.
We're
So
12
I'm
years old.
driving him, and I get to kind of where the train station is at.
Uh-huh.
Is it a bus station?
OTC.
Oh yeah,
what,
the
8th
I
Street?
get there, and I'm just like, all right, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to walk, bro. I'm too scared.
First Street, like First, Second Street.
where pretty much the bus station.
The
Yeah.
bus station.
You dropped them off at the bus station.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was like,
There's
dude, I'm
There's
too
no
scared.
buses though.
Okay,
Like,
honestly, wait, what time was this at?
It was like 9:30.
9:30.
Okay,
dude.
honestly, I mean, yeah.
I
back
was like-
then, yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
It's
I don't think
sketch.
I told him I was like, I don't know if my dad would like want me driving this far, so I'm gonna have to drop you off right here, dude.
Dude, the bus stopped
I
at
just
like
left
8.
him.
Bro, he literally like
left him
dropped
and
me
I took
off.
off.
He kicked me to the curb,
I
bro.
still
and get
remember
out.
that, dude.
Dang.
Bro,
I
and I
remember
had
just thinking like, because that was his excuse. That was he was like, yeah, no, my dad's not gonna let me drive this far. And then we were driving away, and I was thinking like, I wonder if his dad would have let him walk that far.
So yeah, so like I was
Wait,
completely.
you ended up
selfish.
walking?
He had to walk it.
Yeah.
I had to walk
There
all the
was
way
no
home.
buses.
There was no buses
at the
no more.
time. Yeah.
You left him off. You dropped him off at a bus station with no buses even coming.
Look, it was either one person dies or two people.
No.
I'm a numbers
He's
guy.
trying to get into the sheriff's department. So, dude, sorry.
I'm a numbers guy, so
This guy.
Makes sense.
Anyway,
Makes
one
sense.
funerals cost less.
Oh,
Oh.
Anyway,
that's true.
we're here, we're alive, we're doing this, so that doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, so that was that. So back to what I was saying. My mom lived like deep in Oxnard, so
you didn't have a car.
I didn't have a car or anything. These guys had cars, bro, and I was like, man, I want a car, dude. They have cars.
You
know?
could have bought a car.
Don't talk about that, Daddy.
that financial aid kicked
Bro,
in and you spent it on something wrong.
That
didn't you?
FAFSA, bro.
Ah.
And you got a
Dang.
lot in fast.
Bro, I got
man, you messed
blessed,
up,
bro.
didn't you?
$8,000 that just went to waste.
And you didn't buy a car.
And I
Dude,
didn't
not
buy
even
car.
a $3,000
What did
car.
you buy?
would've
No, but
still
you know
had
what?
money.
Shoes?
With the money he spent, he could have got like
I'll tell you later.
It was
he
like
could have
food.
he could have got a
I'll tell you
partnership with Uber.
Is it legal?
Oh,
He could have made that money back.
a lot of money
He
was.
could've, yeah.
You know what? To be honest,
You invested in Uber.
A lot of the money was going into Uber at that time because
Oh, really?
yeah, because I was like,
We're not talking stocks.
Yeah.
no, like Uber as in
rides.
like
Transporting
rides.
yourself from, yeah.
Yeah, so think
To
about
school?
it. Yeah, because I didn't have a car, so I had to like take the if I didn't take Uber, I had to take the bus. Like
Why didn't you just transfer to Oxnard College?
I didn't want to go to
Because his
Oxford
friends
College.
were at Ventura College.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's part of
And
it.
his friends gave him rides.
All right,
Wait,
Danny,
wait, wait.
you're going too deep, Danny.
On my phone.
So you were taking instead of taking the bus, you were taking Ubers and friends rides?
Yeah. So
And
imagine
you still
me.
lost $8,000
Oh my
on
god,
that?
bro. Yes. But
And you know
point-
what's crazy?
How much were you
Never
giving
gas
them
ends.
tip?
Never gas ends.
Oh.
Yeah.
You never gave him gas money?
bro, I a couple times.
I kept track.
$30.
Oh, dude, this guy.
Oh,
bro.
dude, we still have a list. Do you remember that list?
You still owe me
Dude,
$27.
He owed me like $1,000.
Dude,
No,
you
I
still owe me for lunch today.
Oh wait, I have it.
Oh,
I'll give it to you right now. I'll give it to you right now. Anyway. The point is, as at that
He's like,
time.
let's not talk about that.
We're
Let's
gonna
not
turn
talk
off the podcast and he's gonna be like, "Hey, can I pay you Friday?"
Anyway, at that time, I didn't have a car. These guys had a car, so I was like, "Dang, like I need a job." All right, so this is gonna start. It gets
Okay.
interesting.
This is nice.
Right.
I need a job. All right, so cool, right? And I was trying to apply, and I just couldn't get anything because I didn't have any job experience or anything at that time. I was still 18, about to turn 19 after the first semester ended. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
And then after
McDonald's
that,
didn't even want you.
I didn't even apply to McDonald's, brother. So, anyway, point is I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask my dad for work.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, all right, cool. Hey, Dad, can I work with you? And he kind of looked at me. He's all like, really? I was like, yeah. No, I want to work. Let me work with you.
He's just like, nah.
He was like, all right, okay. Let me talk to. No, he was used to the foreman at that time. He's like, let me talk to the office or to the company. I was like, all right, cool. And then, so obviously the first, like, it was literally right after the my first year of college ended, like legit.
Mm-hmm.
That first year, I started working the next year. I mean, sorry, the next week.
Oh.
Like, right, I had just turned 19, and I think we had gone to Wheeler's Gorge.
Yeah.
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 Like on a weekend. And
yeah.
then
Real Sally?
yeah, and then when that week started,
Your
then
dad called you?
I started working.
Oh, you started working.
And then so
But this was non-union.
yeah,
that was-
non-union.
that was
non-union.
That was a fun week.
Yeah.
That was oh yeah, I don't even want to
Don't talk about it.
Yeah, let's not talk about it.
Oh yeah, that's
Another podcast,
That's
another
another
podcast.
story. Anyway,
I don't know if we can talk about it.
yeah, we can. No.
Is it breaking one of the rules?
Yeah,
It's breaking, like,
it's
it
breaking
is.
all of them.
It's breaking all of them. We should probably add
It's
more
actually
rules.
breaking
It
rules
break,
that don't even exist.
it break, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It's actually breaking the laws.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
just
Okay,
kidding.
yeah, we're
pretty
not
bad.
we're not talking about
Nah,
it
I'm
then.
just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
But and then so
Nah.
point is that
You started working with your dad.
I started working with my dad, and I was like, all right, well, I'm only gonna do this for like the summer until I start my next semester.
Right.
So and I'll just save up to get a car or whatever, a truck, whatever.
Mm.
Okay.
So then, yeah, and then so point is I started working. It was already June or July.
Was the pay good at first?
Yeah, I mean I started off at 15. So I mean
It's still good. I mean,
it was at that time.
the time?
it
Better
was-
than zero.
Yeah, at that time
what
it was
was like minimum wage?
probably like 10,
Wow.
11.
Nah, like $9.50, dude.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
because dude,
In 2017,
Yeah.
2018.
17? No.
It was like
it was like
9.50.
10, 11.
No
it was like
shot, it was 10, dude.
Maybe.
Nah.
No, because honestly, it came up real quick. So
Yeah.
let's say $9.50.
We'll
Let's
go
play it
9.50.
safe.
So at that time
Pretty
I was
sure.
getting paid 15. That's how I started.
So it's,
So it's
actually
fi-
pretty good pay.
It's
So-
like $4.50
at that
over
time.
minimum.
So then I was like, cool, I'm gonna do this gig for like
Summer and then
couple of
years,
summer.
maybe.
Yeah. And then
until I die.
so then what ended up happening is I didn't sign up for my next semester into college.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
Because you enjoyed the job or because you just forgot about it?
I just kind of I didn't forget about
Irresponsible,
it.
you
I
know,
just
money.
didn't want to I just didn't do it because I was starting to get money and I was like, all right, cool, this is nice.
Got to that.
Were you able to buy your
And then
car?
I got my dad offered me his old work truck, his personal work truck, because
Oh,
the
okay.
company had given him
Company car?
a company truck.
Okay.
So then he offered me the truck. He's like, hey, like, do you want to buy it? Like, because it's just sitting there. I don't need it. I was like, cool. And then he's like, just give me 25. And I was like, duh, all right, okay, cool.
$25?
No, 2,500.
2,500.
Oh, then it was you guys know, it was
What happened to that?
Well,
It's okay.
I don't know if you know. Yeah, I'll probably start crying.
He was
But I had a
like-
2006 Dodge Dakota.
Oh yeah.
It
You
was
told
a
me about it.
V8.
I never knew what happened to it though.
It was a V8. It was a 4-door. It was a
Stop laughing.
it was a 4-banger. And
Right.
then so I crashed.
R.I.P.
Oh.
The way I said it, I crashed.
He told him.
But why did you crash?
Oh, we're going to go into specifics now.
So I freaking
What happened?
I went to sleep late. Nah.
You fell asleep at the wheel.
Okay, I fell
Yeah.
asleep at the wheel.
He
most
literally said,
Tony-
Jesus, take the wheel.
The most Tony thing.
Oh God, I'm so dumb.
You guys saw
hold
one of the
on.
last
Okay.
podcasts how he fell
Okay.
asleep?
Oh,
it was
that-
like that.
Okay, let me let's see if I have the
Picture still?
I have the picture.
Yeah, he still has a picture. It traumatizes him.
It is traumatizing.
Wait,
Yeah.
were you all right though? Like,
I had a minor concussion, but okay, so
Dude.
Okay. Spider.
did you go see Danny?
But the biggest loss was the truck.
You didn't even care about the concussion. It was the
Yeah.
truck.
no,
It was
dude,
worse.
honestly,
It was the truck.
I,
It really
I
was.
I was heartbroken because I
that
had
was your
like
first car.
it was my
truck.
first truck. Yeah, it was my first truck, my first vehicle, and I'm scrolling through. I'm
$2,500
scrolling
too.
through this. I'm trying
What
to find
color
the
was that
picture.
truck?
It was white.
What color
Yeah, I
is your truck
remember
right
the
now?
way. Yeah.
He had black rims. He had,
Oh yeah.
he was
He was
already-
invested in that.
I
That
was
was
already-
his baby.
I was fixing it up pretty nice, and this
Oh
happened.
man, let me see.
I'll show you right now to
you
the
pretty
bro
much
You don't have to
drove
show me.
into. Wait, dude, that's daytime. What do you mean?
No, well that's
No. It was in the morning.
It was
he
in
fell
the-
asleep
Oh,
on his way to
it happened
work.
at like 5:30 a.m.
Dude, that looks like at least midday.
Well, I mean, it's about to be 7, bro. I mean, the sun's coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. Point is that I got this truck.
Wallpaper.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Hey, yo, where'd that street light come
Okay,
from?
so for the bro amigos that don't see the picture,
I'll show you guys
He
right now.
pretty much
Hold it
drove
to the-
into
Hold it up to the camera.
what, a light pole.
Yeah, it was a street pole. Yeah, sorry to the camera. Okay, so this was
You
my
guys are gonna be able to see it.
that was my first truck, and so I
Double check
you
the
know
other side
I grew like what's that word? Like when you get attached, like you grow like
Attached.
sentimental, like
Yeah.
Oh, it had sentimental
it had
value.
sentimental value to me
Yeah.
because I was like my first truck.
Right.
Like I had fixed it up. I had some like off road like mud terrain tires.
I
like
think that's when you were talking about like doing some suspension work, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
like I had some nice rims on it, whatever.
What
Point is,
suspension?
with no suspension.
No
No,
suspension.
he was thinking of putting suspension.
I was.
I remember he told me that a while back.
And then
I never knew.
anyway, I crashed. Whatever.
But you were good though.
Yeah.
you
so
were fine
uh-huh.
physically.
So point is, yeah, I got my truck.
I remember visiting him in
the
his
hospital?
room. No, in his room, in the
Oh.
bed. He looked like he was dying. Like I walk in there, and I'm just I just see him, and he's just like literally looking at the ceiling. Like he's not.
I was thinking about my truck, bro.
That's the thing. That's like he was thinking about
Because I
that.
was like,
And I'm like, hey, dude, like, how
Well, it
you
was his-
feeling?
it
Like,
was
you
his
good?
It was his first truck. I mean,
He's like, my truck, dude. Like, I kid
no,
you not.
honestly,
it was funny.
well, I'll go into that right now.
Yeah.
But point is I was working. I got my truck.
Right.
That was that. I started working with my dad. Didn't go back to school. So from like when I got my truck until the end of the year, that same year, which was 2017.
wait, you did this all in 1 year?
Yeah, this is
Sounds like Forrest Gump.
This is 20. Yeah, it was the same. Wait, no, it was a
Sounds like a
following
bad
year.
year
It was
to me, dude.
sorry.
Okay.
It was a following year
Sorry.
when it happened. Point is the same year. I just thought about it. That's a pretty short amount of time.
First day to work, he crashes.
Wait. Did you also have your financial aid money that year?
Probably.
No, I wasn't going to school. No, I already had spent it
Oh,
on,
right. Yeah,
on
yeah,
Uber
right.
and other things that I won't mention in this podcast. But if you know, you know. Danny knows.
He's like, I need a truck. Gets a truck, crashes. Like,
No, I didn't use my financial.
God.
Okay. Keep going.
Anyway,
Oh.
so I started working. So I actually, yeah, and then 20. I'm trying to remember 20.
18, 19?
20. So all
probably
of
19.
all of 27. Yeah. So then 2018, I started going back to school, and I was taking like 2 classes at night for the construction technology.
Oh, okay. At VC still?
Yeah, at BC.
Okay.
So I ended up finishing that in 2019 of December. So I got my certificate of achievement, whatever. Nothing.
Oh, so it wasn't the degree, but the certificate,
yeah,
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was nothing crazy, like Tim. I didn't get a bachelor's degree or whatever.
hey, it's a certificate.
Yeah,
dude.
but it was cool, to be able to know all the plumbing, electrical, and all that stuff.
So
HVAC.
that's more leaning towards kind of like an inspector,
Yes, building inspector.
building inspector. Okay.
So I might do that in the future. But anyway, point is that so while I was taking these courses, like because I took like a blueprint reading class, and I was taking all these other classes to try to finish, that program.
right.
And I found it cool because at the same time, I was still working in the trade.
Right. Right.
To be specific, I do like what concrete work. So like from form setting, from prepping, to pour the concrete, and then as a finisher, as a concrete finisher. I use heavy equipment like excavators, skid steers, take out dirt, dig, all that. So it's pretty cool.
The framing and everything.
Yeah,
too,
like
too.
form setting. Yeah, I mean, I'm learning a little bit of framing, so that's pretty cool. I like that.
Okay.
But point is that throughout when I was going to school, I found it more interesting, and I was getting more like interested in it. But to be honest, when I first started working, I freaking hated it. Like I hated waking up early. I hated the labor part of it. Like
Is it still with your dad's company?
yeah, it was just still working with my dad, dude, and I just disliked it. I was like, dude, I hate like I didn't like it at first, to be honest. But I like Danny was saying earlier, I kind of like grew like a passion for it because I was learning more and more and more, right? And then obviously I had like my dad, my uncles like help me and show me like how to do certain things to make things easier, and and then so till this day I'm still there, and which is it's cool, I like it, but I was working.
This is not with the same company, right?
No, I've always been with the same company.
Oh, they just became union?
Yeah, no, they were union, but I was in union. I was non-union for like 5 years. So, 4 years. Yeah. So, point is that it's a union company. Some people are like union and some weren't. I wasn't union. So, but point is that I've been there since, like I said, 2017. So going for 6 years. I kind of like grew a passion for it because I was like learning. I was actually learning. At one point, like, I mean, I didn't care, but then I was all right, well, if I'm going to do this, like, I got to take it serious, I was like, I have to learn, like, because I was like, all right, well, there's good money here. I was like, but there's only good money if you learn the process and if you learn, like, what the job is and like the steps of what you're doing,
Right.
And I was like, all right. And then I think I've shared this with a couple people. 2021, towards December of 2021, I was deciding, I was like, all right, like at that time I was getting paid, and then I'll say it, I was getting paid like $22 an hour, right? And I really don't share that stuff, but I was like, well, now I'm in the union, so it's different, right? So I topped off at like $22 an hour, non-union, and I was like, all right. And then, you start getting older, right? And you start thinking, all right, well, am I going to do this for the rest of my life? Can I see, myself, as a career? I mean, yeah, it is a career, but I was like, do I see myself getting paid this for the rest of my life? And then I was like, all right, well, because I started thinking, I was like, well, one day, God willing, I was like, well, I'm getting married, or I'm going to have a family, or, all these things, right? And I was like, well, I was at that time, I was like, well, I want to start, just kind of working for my future,
Right.
So I was just like, all right. So I started thinking about that, and I was like, all right, well, the year was almost going to end going into 2022. And then I was like, all right, well, I need to do something. Like, I need to figure something out. It's either I leave my company and go join the union somewhere else, or I find other things. And I was like, all right, well, either that or I become like a drill rig operator, which I don't know if you've seen them, but on the freeways, it's like this one machine that like, they dig holes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Piles.
Yeah, that thing's massive, huh?
So that thing, like,
What's that for?
it just goes straight down.
Just to dig?
It bores holes into the ground.
And then you pour them with concrete just for reinforcement. Yeah. So, I was like, and they get paid pretty well. You just got to go to school and learn how to use that rig.
Operators always get paid.
Because it's like a specific rig.
Right.
So I was like, well, I do that, or join the union, or like, what do I do? Or find a job in the county. I was about to talk to his mom.
Yeah.
Shout out to his mom, but.
Shout out, mom.
Shout out, mom.
And then,
Shout out, Thea.
So then I was at that point, was like, all right, I got to figure something out. But then, this is funny. This was in, and it was in the same year, again, 2021, in December, the boss tells my dad, and I had shared with my dad, like, hey, Dad, I want to get paid more, like, can I get a raise or something, like,
right.
I feel like I've been putting in work.
You went to the father. Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I'm
right now, this is your dad's the boss, technically. He's the foreman, right?
My dad's a foreman. He's been a foreman since I've joined. Even before I started working there, he's a supervisor. So
he's your boss.
He's pretty much my boss. He's my supervisor. So, and then I told my dad, and it's funny because he was like, yeah, I was just literally thinking the same thing. Like, I was like, you and like a couple other guys, not everyone. He's like, I know you guys have been working hard, and and I was like, I was thinking about talking to the boss, and I was like, yeah, well, I was like, it's either that or I don't know. I was like, I'm thinking about probably leaving and joining like the union or something, because like I'm just thinking about the future, and I was just like,
I felt stuck.
Yeah, I felt stuck. I was like, I need to do something. So Funny story, and I know this was God because I didn't even say a word. My dad didn't even say anything either. My dad told me I didn't say anything. He's like, the boss told me, he's like, hey, do you want your son Anthony to join the union? And then my dad was like, all right, well, let me talk to him. So my dad told me, he's like, hey, the boss said that if they want to join the union, that they'll sponsor you and they'll get you in. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. And then my dad kind of gave me an option. He's like, well, he's like, you already know what I want to do. Or, you know, we kind of talked about starting our own little side business in concrete, the same thing. He's like, but, you know, if you want to join, go ahead. It's up to you. And I was like, all right, well, I'll do it, you know. So I told my dad, yeah, like I'll do it. So, my same company sponsored me. And to be able to get in the union, you have to get sponsored by a company that wants you. So thank God that my company was able to sponsor me, so I didn't have to go out and look for another company.
Right.
I was able to stay, but just I was now union. The point is I got in and I was like, all right, like this is cool, like.
And there's benefits to the union, right?
Yeah, and I was like, all right,
Makes a big difference.
I've always heard about the union. I was like, yeah, they get paid well, this and that. But I was like, well, I never knew exactly what it was about. So I got in January of 2022, like literally like the first week. I had to go fill out some paperwork in Camarillo, whatever, whatnot. And I was all right, well, let's see what it's about, you know? And I was like, all right, well, let's do it. I took the opportunity, and I joined the union. And then I was working with my dad for like the beginning of January of last year. And then they sent me to another crew. And I was working at a school in Summerland, like Summerland is like towards Santa Barbara. Almost all of last year, I was working there.
Really?
Yeah. With another foreman though. I wasn't working with my dad.
Oh, okay.
So this was like a union, more like of a union crew. So, but from that same company. But point is, that's how I got into my career. And, I mean, I've learned so much. Like if I'm more of, like the people that know me, I'm like more of a hands-on kind of guy. Like I like building things. I like, that's just kind of what I like to do,
Right.
And not only that, but, the union is pretty, like the higher stage you go, the more money you make, which is pretty sweet, but you have to accumulate hours, and that's the only thing, and it's pretty sweet. Like I like it, it is a big opportunity if you want to get into it. If, for some reason, I don't know, if school's not for you, or my voice is cracked, or if like,
let it know.
Or if like, if you're like, if you like the whole trades and all that, because some people like it, some people like to do that. And
what advice would you give someone that wants to do exactly what you're doing with the union? Like, what advice would you tell a younger Tony?
Oh, I would
barely getting in. That's like, I'm down. Like, what do I
wake up?
What advice would you give?
Yeah, wake up. I would be like, hey, bro, like, if you're gonna do this, like, one of the Tims that's good. One of the things that Tim was saying is like, bro, like your body's gonna get beat up because it's heavy work, So you kind of gotta get ready for that, but
start wearing a back brace.
Yeah, like take care of yourself too.
Yeah.
Like I try to take care of myself and
taking vitamins,
even from putting sunscreen on, stuff like that. But I not that I regret my job or what I do, but I eventually like if I would have, and I know I'm still young, but if I would have like gone back to school, and I want to go back to school now, I'm gonna go back to school,
Amen.
God willing. I would go for like more like structural engineer or architect and stuff like that.
Inspector.
Yeah, because I see what they do, and it's good money too. But
it's not so.
It's not so much of the labor. But what I do like is that I have the knowledge of what goes on behind, in prepping for,
from the start to the finish,
from the ground, from the bottom up, because we specialize in foundations. That's what I do with my type of my work.
Firm foundation.
Yeah, so that's what's pretty cool. Like having the knowledge, because a lot of the people, like, they know the process. They know, like, all right, we're gonna do this, but they don't, like, some of them, like, for example, they can't read the blueprints, or like they don't know how to. I don't want to bag on them, but simple things is like they can't
There's
read.
a language barrier.
They can't read a tape
Yeah.
or like stuff like that. And it's like you've been
Some
doing
of
this.
the basic stuff that
Yeah,
you
it's
would
like,
run
oh, dude,
into.
you've been doing this for years, and like I'm over here,
They're
like a
stuck.
24-year-old telling a 30-some-year-old how to do
How it
something.
works, yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
but
So
but having that knowledge, like it's always beneficial because this is how I see it. There's always gonna be work. So no matter where I go, like for example, if I were to move out of state, there's still the same union, which is the Southwest Carpenters, is in Nevada. It's in Idaho. It's
it's
in
nationwide.
It's on your side.
Yeah, pretty much. It is pretty. Yeah,
Like if you moved out east, you'd be able to find.
it'd be different.
Yeah.
But there's still a union out there.
Right.
But our union, which is the one that I'm in, it goes
Southwest,
from
right?
Southwest California.
Arizona.
There's Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico.
So if you ever wanted to leave, you could be like, I know I can get a job
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah,
What
that's
about
what
Hawaii? Anything in
Hawaii is. I think their own. From I think so. But anyway, you can still. There's still a union out there.
Nice.
So that's what's cool. Like if I ever want to go anywhere, and it's just not concrete work. It's also like the cool thing is like you could do bridge construction.
Framing and all.
Like
Okay, yeah.
for example, if my work gets low, I can go to the union hall and I can tell them like, hey, I have to put my name down like out of work, right? And then what they do is they hook you up. Pretty much, they help you. So they're like, all right, hey, like we have a job out here. It's in Calabasas. We're gonna do some road construction. They're building some a bridge, or they're building pillars or something to
They're building a
for,
wall.
like like a big wall, retaining wall, whatever. Like I can go anywhere. That's cool. Like I can go anywhere in California and find job through the union.
Right.
Which is
like
pretty cool.
They have your back no matter what.
Yeah, which is cool, you know. So like if I ever like run out of work, if there's nowhere, like I could just go and like, hey, I'm out of work. What do you guys have for me? There's also like finished carpentry, like inside,
So-
like installing cabinets or stuff like that. That's still union, you know.
Mhm.
And then there's like tapers, or the people that do drywall, install like certain. I think Daniel Rosales does something like that. He works in hospitals specifically, where he installs
He's gonna be on the podcast.
Yeah.
he's gonna do.
I don't even know who that is, but I guess he's going to be on the podcast.
He
I
does
actually
like,
work with him. It's funny.
he does like seismic installations or something
I
of,
should probably ask him what
of
he does.
hardware or what is it?
He
Not
actually-
hardware.
He installs.
Like like machines, no, or something like that.
Nah, not really. He installs like frames, like he
Like
installs,
for hand sanitizer, like he would.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
would install the frame that the hand sanitizer.
Yeah,
because that
or
has
like-
that has to be. If an earthquake were to happen, that can't fall.
Yeah,
There's also like alarms or whatever, like
Yeah.
the alarm systems, like the frame.
So like
right?
reinforced frames.
yeah,
something like that.
I guess. Yeah.
So all that is part of the union. But yeah, point is that it you know, there's opportunities. You know, you just got to be willing to learn in whatever you go. So, but yeah, it's cool, dude. Like I like it. I enjoy it. You know, and you know, I'm always the type of guy. You know, and I thank God that I'm like this. I mean, I think I got it from my dad. It's like I'm willing to learn anything. You know, I'm down. Like
That's good. That's a good.
I'm willing
Yeah,
to
that's a
dive
good
in
skill
and
to
like,
have.
oh, like you don't know how to do this? No, I don't. Freak it, let's do it. I'll learn right here. Teach me, show me something. You know, like you know, whatever it is.
yeah.
Like the other time, I went. I had a class because you have to go to school in the union 4 times out of the year.
Oh,
for-
so you're doing a full apprenticeship?
It's an apprenticeship.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you're on your second year.
I'm
now?
on my
Or are you still
pretty
on your
much. I skipped 1 year because I got
had experience.
yeah, because
Oh,
of my
nice.
experience and because my company was able to sponsor me in as a stage 2.
Oh,
So I didn't start from the bottom, which is, I mean, it's cool. But I did get a pay cut. So that sucked for like half a
But
year.
the benefits are there. Now.
Yeah, but the benefits of vacation pay,
Retirement,
all that,
medical, all that
yeah,
good
all
stuff.
that started kicking in like in the middle of last year when I joined, January last year. So like I was struggling. I'm not gonna lie, like I was struggling for a bit because like I took a pay cut.
But
And
it's gonna help you out in the long run.
yeah, and now I'm like now like a year later, I'm starting to see like the benefits of it. You know, like all right, sweet. Like I got 2 raises already from where I started. You start seeing that little by little, and like, all right, this is cool. You know, like all right, like it like motivates you because you're like, I'm not only like, you know, learning. I mean, what I've learned so far. You know, when I wasn't in the union, but it's like you're accumulating all these hours, right? You got to accumulate like 600 to get your next raise. And then what's cool is like I'm getting these raises, and these raises, they have to give them to me. You know, like they have to give it to you.
Yeah,
like
because it's like the union's negotiating for you.
Yeah,
you
like-
don't know. You no longer have to go to
the boss,
and
and
tell
that's
him,
how
hey, I want
yeah.
to raise.
And that's how it was before. Like I remember I started off at $15, and then I topped off at 22. Like, and it's like, my dad was the one that would have to put a word for all of us, not just me.
Right.
Like, hey, like this guy, give him like $1 or whatever, like depending on what my dad saw, like, oh, like he's learning, whatever it is,
Right.
So it's not like that. Like now it's like, all right, well, you got every 600 hours you go to school, you get your raise, but it's which is cool. But I mean, you also still got to grind. That doesn't mean I got to
Right.
get lazy. I still got to work. I still got to do my thing. So that's cool. I like it. Yeah, I really do.
And then the last question is going to be kind of like how I asked the other guys. Do you see your job later on in the future being kind of replaced by either a machine or a computer or something along the line of that,
No, because
or just technology advancing? And whatnot?
no, I don't think so, because it's like it's labor. Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna train robots to do labor or how
How to dig a hole?
how to do
Well,
do things with your hands and whatever,
how to pour concrete.
Well,
Yeah, I mean that's a skill that not a lot of people have. There are machines, but
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that
It's a lot of
got to
tools,
run the machines.
a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah, kind
operating.
of like how you said, like, yeah, you could dig a hole and then you can use that machine, but you need an operator.
Someone's
Yeah.
got
To
to.
operate
Someone's
the
got
machine.
to. Someone's
Yeah.
got to do it.
Kind of
Yeah.
like the same thing with Danny. Danny does the X-rays, but it's like Danny's got to be running the machine.
I'm pushing buttons, but I got to know which buttons to push.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Same thing with like you and anyone else that's an operator or anything like that.
yeah, and like in the union there's
Tim too. Tim's pushing buttons, but he's got to know when to push.
When to not push them.
When to not
The-
push 'em.
Sirens.
the
Rolling
siren?
code 3.
Yeah.
I know I didn't say this, but there's 8 stages in the apprenticeship.
It goes year by year.
It goes year by year. So every year you usually go up 2 stages, unless you're like starting from like from the bottom, like as an apprentice. So I started off as 2, and now I'm a stage 4, about to go to 5 in May. The last week of May I go back to school. So after that, God willing, I'm getting another raise, and I'll be stage 5, which is now I'm a little bit more than halfway.
And then once you hit 8, you journey
Once
out.
you hit 8, you journey out and you top off.
You're a journeyman.
Yeah, and that's tight. So that's a goal, and that's next year already
Good,
for me.
that's good. Yeah.
So
Keep it up and do.
I'll be going-
Keep you in our prayers.
I'll be going 6.
6, 7, and then finishing.
I'll
off
be
with
going
8.
6 by the end of this year, and then 7, 8 next year, God willing, and then
That's it. You're gonna get married.
Oh,
are you
Prophesying.
prophesying over me, brother?
Or is he prophesying?
oh.
I don't know. I kind of want to take it, bro.
Receive it.
I kind of want to
Take it.
receive that.
Receive it.
Receive it.
But anyway, yeah,
You
it's
will
cool.
take it.
Like the people that know me, I'm very I like the hands-on and all that, and it's cool to me, like I find it interesting, that we're able to build stuff,
Yeah,
And-
and it's like you could see yourself like you'd rather be out there doing that than behind the desk.
For now, yes, I'll say that. For now, yes, I like the experience, but I will say this, like I don't see.
Eventually, you
Yeah.
need to get out of that. because
Eventually, I don't see
it wears on
myself
the body.
doing
body.
doing the labor part of it for the rest of my life.
I feel like the same with Tim too. I mean, like eventually your body can only take so much before you got to sit down behind the desk and tell or be training.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like in Jesus' name, like what I do want to do is I want to get to the point where I get my own gigs and then branch out and start
Make your own business.
something
Yeah.
and just nothing crazy, but where there's a good income coming in, because
Right,
there's good
right.
money in this type of trade, in this construction, especially like again, if you have the knowledge,
Right, right.
and if you're willing to learn, if you're not hard-headed to, because you know how guys are in construction.
Oh, yeah.
Some people
Yeah.
are
There's that
prideful,
ego.
and like, oh,
There's
you
that
can't-
ego.
what are you gonna teach me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a little kid or whatever it is. Some people
Yeah.
just are like
I
that
have
at work.
chest hair.
No, but
then-
yeah, some people are like
you know
that
what I'm
because
saying,
some people
though.
have just
You know what
they
I'm saying?
see you and it's like you're a younger dude and I've been doing this for X amount of time, yet you're in the union or you know more than me because
Yeah.
you actually put the time and you learned the
Yeah.
basics and then now the more advanced skills.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like
You started
yeah,
from the bottom.
yeah, the thing is
Now
like
you're here.
eventually, yeah, like I want to, start doing that, and that's one of my goals. Hopefully, in Jesus' name, get my GC contractor's license and
General
License,
contract.
yeah.
just begin, put that to use, because like I said, like you were saying, like I don't want to be doing this, like the labor part of it, for a long time, because your body can only handle so much, and I don't want to have kids and then be like, wait, on my back, hold on,
You don't play
trying
catch.
to throw a
yeah.
baseball, and like, oh,
Yeah.
bro, my freaking arm is shot or something,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then have to work the next day.
But yeah, so I just want to, that's just the, future goal, but for now, for now, I like the hustle, I like,
No, that's good, that's
I
good,
like
yeah.
it, but
Yeah, we like the grind.
I like the grind, early morning. I mean, I don't like waking up early,
You gotta
but
kick dirt. You know?
it is what it is, you got to wake up to get,
Yeah.
money, but, yeah, it's cool. I like it. And, I know that it was a great opportunity, and I know God opened that door for me to join,
Well, that's good. That's good. I like how everybody had like their own path that they kind of went into, and I feel like a lot of you guys didn't really start with that. I don't know about you, Tim. I don't know if like right from the get go you wanted to be.
Tim was gonna be a
Actually,
lawyer.
no, you were
man.
going to be a lawyer, yeah. So I feel like
Yep.
for everybody, it kind of was the same way. Like jumping into me, and I'll try to be quick with it. I was actually trying to be in the sheriff's department, specifically in the sheriff's department. I went through the Explorers program for a little bit, and I went to Ventura College as well, like you, and studied administration of justice. But towards the end, I kind of realized that this wasn't for me. There was a lot of things that I did enjoy, like my major classes, because I went there and I practically only need math and like an English class, and I already have my administration of justice associates. But I didn't want to finish it through because I kind of knew that's not the direction I wanted to go towards. Because of the fact that as much as a lot of the job description is appealing, it's not something I ultimately wanted to do. Kind of like how you ended up switching over to doing something else that's more from being a lawyer to criminal justice major, right? And then same thing with you, Danny. I think you studied for psychology.
Psychology, yeah.
Psychology, and you're an X-ray. You were doing your business class, and then same thing with me. I ended up doing administration of justice, leaving that and pursuing a line of work in the trades, and then just moving up the stages from there until I actually got into the union, like you. And yeah, it was. I think for me, it was a good opportunity once I got that chance. It took forever, and I think I tried to get into the union around the same time that Danny tried, and it took.
Praise God.
It took what, 2 years?
Danny, you
Yeah.
could have gone there, bro. You could have been making
Oh
money.
no!
No, they offered him a
they
job.
Called me. They called me. They
Oh,
offered
they
me
did?
a job. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened? You said no?
said no?
Yeah, no, I rejected the offer.
How much was the...
I think at that time it was
Like
you
20
started off at
20-something.
25,
23 or
23, 24.
Because when I got
No.
into the union, I was
Not
getting
bad.
paid 22, but then I had to also take a pay cut to get into the union.
Yeah,
And
that
then
sucks for me.
after my 90 days, they did it like how they did it with you. They accredited me 3 years, and then I was able to advance an additional year. And for us, it was only 5 years of the apprenticeship that we had to do, and then I journeyed out. So now I'm a full-fledged plumber, journeyman plumber with the United Associations.
Amen.
And just like you, Tony, the union does help you out a lot. It has a lot of perks. I mean, you have your pension, you have your 401k, your Roth IRAs and whatnot, all the other benefits, health care and whatnot, but also the opportunity to leave the state and go to a different area and still be connected with the union and be able to get some type of line of work down there with a different contractor. As far as advice for someone that's maybe looking into becoming a plumber or just any trade in the union or non-union shop, I would say be prepared for hard work. Be prepared to put in your dues.
You're back.
Your back.
You're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dues. I
It's-
remember that.
Yeah,
Booty got back.
You have to kind of get used to the fact that you're gonna start at the bottom, you're bottom of the totem pole, and you're gonna slowly go up. But if you continue doing it, after a couple of years, you'll be
at the
getting
top.
paid better. Like, right? I'm sure you're getting paid better now.
Yeah, well, I'm getting paid more than I've ever got paid working there, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, and on top of that, all your benefits as well that come with it. So
Mhm.
And the
as long as
vacation money that we get.
vacation pay too, that's always good. So I think if you just like if anybody is looking into doing any line of work like Danny with the X-ray, Tim with the sheriffs, Tony as a carpenter, or any union job with plumbing related, know that with everything it takes time,
Yes,
it takes hard work,
it does, man.
Dedication.
dedication, having to go to
Passion.
school. Passion is probably one of the biggest ones because I don't think any of us would have been in the position that we're in right now
Mm.
if we weren't passionate in plumbing, carpentry, sheriff's department, or even as an X-ray technician.
Yeah.
And I think it's just moving up the ladder bit by bit,
Yeah. I think
Slowly, slowly but steady.
slowly.
yeah,
but
and
steady.
I think in everything you also like there's motivations like, and I guess discipline at the end of the day. Like, Tony said like he doesn't want to work in he doesn't want to do labor for the rest of his life because
Right.
obviously but he wanted to definitely take the next step. Like he didn't want to just stay at 22. He wanted to get more. For one day he wants to have a family
Right.
and like
Sure.
So
Be able to
I
play
think
catch with that family.
exactly and be
And
able to play
Tim.
and
Tim too.
and
Too.
yeah and Tim too.
Tim's gonna have a family.
Yeah. And we're all going to have
Same.
families.
You're my family.
Wow.
So what keeps you guys motivated in your guys' line of work? What is it that keeps you guys motivated to keep going?
Please don't say money, guys.
No,
Yeah, don't say
Please
money.
don't say money.
Don't
For
say
me-
money, because I think for all of
Yeah.
us, it's something passionate.
no, for me, it's honestly like my future family, like my future wife, my future kids. Like, I always say it, but like, I want to be able to play catch with my kid and I want to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle. Like, those are just
Right.
things that I want to, so I want a financially stable career. And I want
not
to,
back breaking.
I want to use my mind. I'll fry my mind. Like,
I'll
the
go to-
mind can take so much more
The
damage
body.
than the body.
I'll go to you for X-rays.
Tim,
You got it, man.
what keeps you motivated in your passion or in your line of work?
Probably sounds dumb because I'm young right now, but I think like getting the next people ready. Like I know I got like
Future
a 30,
generations.
Yeah, I know I got a 30-year career ahead,
I like that, bro.
but like there's still years that exist after I'm retired.
Right.
So getting the next people, so doing my best to get the next people to do their best. I think that's what I want to do.
So
Good.
be like someone's beacon, someone's
Someone's like someone to look up
Yeah.
to. That's knowing that someone's looking at me. That's probably what motivates me,
Question.
even if no one's looking at me.
Do you have a mentor in like the
Yeah.
industry that you're in?
You
Oh,
have someone that you see.
Our tax
Your tax.
are our mentors.
And that's kind of
you
why
guys, you guys will see them at graduation. Like
Yeah.
they're awesome.
that's kind of
Alright,
why you
that's
want to
fair.
be a tech, huh? Like
Yeah.
you saw what they did for you, and like you're like, I want to do that for somebody else too.
Yeah. And after talking
awesome.
with them, like their biggest joy is seeing where we were 6 months ago, and then like seeing us on that
True.
stage like 6 months later.
Yeah.
How
Come
much
on.
we've changed.
Come on.
Mm.
But yeah.
That's good. What about you, Tony? What motivates or what keeps you motivated in your passion?
Well, I'll kind of feed off of what these guys said.
Eat your own food.
Maybe your
Well,
own dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's because at least for me, like you get to a point where you're like, all right, well, you start thinking about the future, and it's like, all right, well, I want to start getting ready now, so when the time comes, I'll be ready, for kids, family, whatever whatever God brings, those are blessings later, but like I want to, like, again, like he was saying, that's good. I like that, again, like I'm going to be, teaching the next carpenters or the next guys, like, maybe, who knows, maybe I'd be an instructor at the school, in the union in County Camarillo, I don't know. but like you know, teaching them what I know, and you know, helping the next people to learn how to, you know, not only you know, be a carpenter, but to like tell them like, hey, like I remember when I was like your age, or I remember being where you were at. It sucked, you know, because I felt like, all right, well, this is it, you know, but you know, just kind of reminding them like, hey, you know, like there's always other things, there's always opportunities, there's always something better. Is like you just gotta like, you know, do your best and like just never give up and try to learn and try to do the best you can, and always pray. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to leave that out. I know.
No, that's
And
good.
I would assume like same thing, kind of like with Tim, but like since like if you're saying like in the future, like you'd be a journeyed out already carpenter, you'd be somebody with, you know, years of experience. You'd be able to give that younger generation that's barely coming in and be able to say like, hey, like here's some tips, like here, you know, do this, you know,
Yeah.
start
of
like
course.
I don't know, don't go out or something like that, like late, you
Use
know,
a knee pad.
use knee pads.
Oh
like,
yeah, like protect your
you know,
body. Yeah,
like
for
simple
sure.
stuff like that. But even like, hey, try to get certified in this. Like, you know, try to do this,
Yeah.
this, you know, get them ahead of their career before
Like
yeah.
try to in other words, kind of like
advance them and
Guide them in the direction.
Yeah,
that
like,
you
try to-
know that's gonna be beneficial for them.
like
Yeah.
try to like just like myself, like I was saying earlier, like try to make them think about their future.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, it's tough right now. You know,
Mhm.
we all know, you know, California's expensive, and
Yes,
we
it
get
is.
we can get into that, but you know, I'm not. But you know, it's just
it's a 2-income state.
it's just ridiculous.
I don't know if you
dude.
guys heard that before.
I
Oh, yeah,
haven't actually. This is our first time.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
You
pretty
really-
much saying like it takes 2
Yeah,
incomes,
of
like
course.
a white
Average
Yeah.
on average,
to-
it's
on
yeah.
average just to survive here.
Yeah, so like I went to Texas not a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I saw there was a bunch of this. I know this is out of context, but I was like, I saw a bunch of work, and I was like, dude, like there's work everywhere,
Yeah.
and I was like,
But
and
but
it's
they pay less.
no, I know they do pay less, you're right, but I was just like, dang, like, and it's cheaper, but that's just you thinking because you're from California, you know. So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Yeah.
that's something else. But yeah,
I don't know if you guys have this. I think this is what motivates me sometimes almost too much.
Mm.
It's competition.
You want to be better than the next one, or you want to be better than the one next to you,
No,
or than your past self.
than my past self.
Okay.
I always see it like I want to be impressed with what I will be in 5 years.
That's good.
That's what motivates me.
some good
Where it's
gas.
like, wait, what? Like I did that?
Some premium gas.
Yeah. That's what motivates me, where it's like it doesn't matter like what it is, but how I end up doing it. It's like I think I told you like in the past, like one thing that like back in high school, like playing football,
Yeah.
one thing that the coaches would always tell us when we would wake up at like 4 a.m, get to school, do 0 period, working out at like 5 a.m,
So the best days.
and the coaches would be like, you guys are different than everybody else because of the fact that the other person is at home
on bed.
sleeping.
Yeah.
They're comfortable. They're in a warm, comfortable pillow, blanket, clean environment. You guys are out here sweating, working hard, feeling the burn, and the sun's not even out yet.
Mm.
So I think that is what motivates
Kind
me.
of instilled you.
Where
instilled-
and it
was
instilled me
in you.
where it's like I have fun when I'm like pushing myself for no
Yeah.
reason, like
Not for no reason.
well, not
but-
for no reason, but like, there's no. Remember how I ended up doing that, the miles recently.
Yeah.
did you win, by the way?
We're still
was
going.
technically going,
I'm
but
probably
we
not
only
gonna
have a
win,
couple
but
days.
I did half a marathon just out of the blue,
And it was
and-
because I did 10 miles. So.
maybe, but Danny did 10 miles in
Did 10
one
miles.
day,
And I see like this guy does 13 miles like a couple days later. I'm like, are you kidding me?
and it's not because of you. It's because I need to. If that makes sense. It's like if you could do it, I could do it too.
Nice.
But where you stopped, I'm gonna keep pushing, so that maybe next time you might do 50
I mean, bro,
miles.
amigos, here's the thing. I stopped because my phone was dying. That's literally the only reason. I wanted to actually
That's
get
a
to
good
13
excuse.
because I wanted to be Kez. Because I had 0 at
yeah,
the time and
that's
Kez
true.
had 13. So I was like, I can get to 14. Like I felt fine.
You want to go?
honestly.
You want to go this Saturday? I'm gonna do it again.
I'm down, honestly. I'm down to do like 15 or something like that, dude. Because I
want to
could
go more.
I could have kept going. We could do like a marathon.
You want to do a marathon?
How much
You
is a
wanna do
marathon? Like 27 miles,
Actually,
26
you gotta
miles,
go faster than us.
I want to do the
26.
Boston Marathon.
It's 26,
Spartan race.
26 miles, right?
26 and a half miles, something like that.
Because that's what I was gonna try to do. I'm gonna push. I know I'm not gonna win the competition, but
Yeah.
I want to push at least over 20 miles.
By the time I'm 30, I will have done the Boston Marathon.
That's 26 miles, right?
I don't know.
That's if they don't bomb it.
Oh.
Goodness, dude.
No, shit.
Come
We're gonna
on.
have to cut this
Boston
out.
strong, baby. Even though I like New York, but
He's a
I'll do
Yankees
the,
fan.
I'll do
Boston
the New York
Yankees
Marathon too.
hey, you want to do it together?
I want to do
No.
it.
No homo.
I'd be
No.
down to do a marathon. That'd be actually
All right,
pretty
bro.
cool.
Whatever,
I'd
bro.
be down to do it.
But
I would obviously,
I
you
helped you
obviously
with
have
your
to work
project.
yourself up, but like, here's the thing that I know, like, a lot of it now in the marathons, like, do they walk a lot? Are they walking?
Yeah,
and stuff?
you can
yeah,
walk.
you can walk.
So, like, I was walking, but I was kind of chilling. Like, obviously, I was running. Like, I probably like ran
Right.
30% of the time.
I mean,
Not
for the
even- not
marathons, you
capping.
do know that there's like first, second, third place, but like
Yeah, I'm not trying
as
to.
long as you
I ain't
finish,
trying to-
that's all that matters.
If you're getting first or last, like that's the way I think of it. You know, Ricky Bobby, shake and bake.
I know, right? Well,
Second
This
place
had-
is the first loser.
That's true.
oh,
That's true.
man, ouch.
Yeah,
That hurts.
it's a good way of seeing it.
I'm gonna go for a run. Alrighty. Well, we are. I think we hit well over 2
It's a new
hours,
record.
guys.
It's a new
This-
record,
This
guys.
may be our longest podcast.
No, it definitely
Yeah.
is our longest podcast.
Slight work.
God, 3 hours. Nah.
But you know what's crazy? When I ran those 10 miles, I was still out there running.
I know
'Cause
mine.
it was like 3 hours.
Yeah, mine was like 3 hours.
Yours was like, yeah, something like that, right?
Like almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I did 13.
So that means you can listen to this podcast.
While you're,
you're running.
while you're running your 10 miles. Or
Oh,
13 miles, whatever.
get out there, do it.
Yeah. And then put another one after because we're not going to be any longer.
I know.
Amen.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today. We got to do this again. And for everybody all the bromigos that are out there, make sure to like, subscribe, comment.
Praise God. Praise God.
Praise God. And make sure to check out our
Praise
IG.
God. You're on IG, brother?
Yeah.
You didn't know this?
Nah, I don't
Yeah,
have social
we
media.
tagged-
I
we've
don't-
tagged you before.
I don't think these people heard you.
Subscribe. Subscribe. Subscribe and help us out.
Hey man, we're
Hit
trying to
that
get
bell
rich. We're trying to get
notification,
rich
guys.
off. Imagine we're trying to get rich off of this.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. We're not.
No.
So we
we're
don't have to. Hey, so we don't have to do our careers.
So Tim can retire early.
yeah.
Yeah. Help us retire those knees early.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, mine?
Oh yeah, yours too.
Yours too.
Yours too.
All of ours.
Amen.
All righty, guys.
And our back.
Let's hit this.
Listen.
Don't go to rest.
Unforgettable. Don't forget it.
Bye, everybody.